Description: what would happen if there was another clan in Kanon? So, in my story, he is the name of this Namikaze clan. They are known for their fast thunder god techniques. It was the thunder god or Hiraishin who created this clan and gave them his techniques. Hiragan eyes further in fan fiction. Once upon a time, in the days of Hashiram Senju and Madara Uchiha, there were two clans. The Uzumaki clan, or they were called the Scarlet Devils, their distinguishing feature was a huge supply of chakra and technique. Fuinjutsu, or sealing techniques. They could seal from ordinary things all the way to Biju, and the clan was founded by the son of Rikuda, Sanin, or the sage of the 6 ways Ashura Atsutsuki himself. But what if I say that there was another clan that existed before Rikuda, and the Hiraishin clan itself founded the clan, called Namikaze? One word about this clan instilled fear in people, as they were known as the fast shinobi of the clan. They had the techniques of the thunder god himself, who entrusted them with this technique. On the second Hokage, I borrowed the technique of these shinobi for myself. They called the quick death of their technique. They had the flying thunder god, the dance of the thunder god, the fury of the thunder god, the sentence of the thunder god. And they were also futon masters, and they had doujutsu like Sharingan, but the name was Hiragan, or the vision of the thunder god. And they were also smart. The first ruler was Hira na Mikaze by him. Hiraishin himself gave him the technique and gave them his eyes. The second one was Shen Namikaze. He increased the clan and the village. And also after Kanaha was created, he moved the clan to Kanaha, and his son was the 4th Hokage himself. The third one was Minato Namikaze. He was smart. And also his name was Yellow Lightning. He was a Hokage, and also the leader of the clan. It was he who established relations with Uzumaki, and his Uchiha wife was the princess of the Uzumaki clan herself, namely Kushina Uzumaki or Bloody Habanura, and his friend was Fugaka Uchiha, but his son. Note: now I'll tell you about the techniques. The Flying Thunder God technique allowed the user to teleport to the mark. Only a kunai was needed. Minato had a 3-petaled kunai. And a clan member could put a seal on his hand and teleport. Technique Dance of the Thunder God. This technique allowed you to teleport to several seals or kunai and deliver deadly blows. Rage of the Thunder God. This technique caused Hiraishin himself, and he began to mock the opponent, but she used a lot of chakra. And the last technique is the verdict of the Thunder God of the enemy, immersed in Genjutsu. And there the Thunder God played with the victim. Now Dujutsu, namely Hiragan, or the eyes of the Thunder God, they are able to slow down time, move through time, and also reflect any Genjutsu questions. In general, the eyes see through time. And yes, Naruto's parents are alive, and Naruto does not have kurama since, but he was free and protected Konoha. And the residents loved and respected him and did not treat him as a weapon. It took about 4 years for Naruto to look like his father with his hair and his face. Nakushenu at 6 months, he said the first words, "Mom, Dad." At 9 months he learned to walk, 1.5 years. He was able to speak. At 2 years, he was able to read and write in general. He was a genius. Minato was also a Hokage. But he paid attention to the family and the upbringing of his son. Kushina also took care of her son. Naruto, on the other hand, was reasonable and knew how to hide his emotions. He was dressed in black shorts, shinobi sandals, and a black and orange t-shirt with the coat of arms of the Uzumaki clan. And Mikaze's hair was like Minato yellow, and a curl hung on his cheeks. Her eyes were blue. Naruto was engaged in training, namely, he ran around the training ground 10 times, pulled up 50 times. Did push-ups 100 times, press -50, and an hour planned for 3 approaches, and learned to throw shurikens. And now Naruto could throw kunai. 4/10 of kunai and shuriken. Kushina taught Naruto fuinjutsu, and Minato taught to control the chakra. 6 months ago flashback. Me Naruto, now you will have to awaken the chakra hearth. If it doesn't work out the first time, then don't worry about many hearth. In general, it wakes up after 6 months, or even after 1 year. For this you have to sit in the lotus position. And feel the light inside you. This will be the chakra. Naruto said, "All right, Dad." Naruto sat in the lotus position, and began to meditate, and after 3 hours Naruto, I felt the center of the chakra, and said, Nyack felt it. Minato was shocked, since 3 hours had passed, he thought Naruto was really a genius. Minato said, Not great, son. Now you have to activate the chakra canals in order to use the techniques and also increase the stock. Naruto did it in a week. He chased the chakra through all the chakra canals, and again Minato was in shock. The end of the flashback. Minato said, Minaruto, I want to teach you a technique called shadow cloning. With her help, you can train faster and also use them on missions, but there is one drawback. They get tired, and when you develop them, the fatigue is transmitted to you, and also depends on the chakra, how many chakras you have, how many clones there will be. Since by creating a clone, you give 50% of the chakra is clear. Naruto said, I got it, Dad. Minato caught his hands with a cross and said, Me shadow cloning technique. And 10 shadow clones appeared. Minato said, Me, to dispel them, also fold your hands, and they will disappear. Minato folded his hands, and they disappeared. Naruto also folded the seal, and 20 clones appeared. Minato said, Give the order that 5 clones train in Taijutsu, 5 in Shurikenjutsu, 5 learn to walk on water, and 5 on trees. And you go to training with your mom. So the day passed. Naruto was tired of Kushino. Taught Naruto a simple fuin to seal a thing in a scroll. Naruto dispelled the clones, and he was tired. Naruto ate and went to bed. Tomorrow he will have a training session with Kushina. 1 year passed. Naruto increased his chakra reserve, and he could already create 100 clones. Also Naruto could already fight. In Taijutsu as a strong genin, he had 7-shot 10 funjutsu throwing. He studied at an average level. Was able to create barriers. Clothes did not change. Only gloves with a cutout on the fingers were added, and an iron stake. Minato also paid attention to his family, no less than his job. In the village, Naruto was called the child, the son because of his hair, and one day Minato told Naruto that he would teach him the techniques of his clan and learn his elements, to which Naruto was glad. The next morning, Naruto got up at 5 a.m., took water treatments, got dressed and went back out. The backyard, where there was a training ground, where he trained in taijutsu and shurikenjutsu. When he finished, started running. And after 1.5 hours I finished and saw Kushina and Minato. Naruto said, Nai, you've been standing here for a long time. Kushina said, Ku was feeding somewhere. 15 minutes, okay, once you've worked out, let's go have breakfast. Naruto, Minato, and Kushina went to the table. After eating, Naruto and Minato went to the backyard, and Minato began to say, Me, and so Naruto, what do you know about the Namikaze clan? Naruto said, the Namikaze clan was founded on. It was founded long before the Sage Six Ways, and the clan was founded by Hiroshige himself, or the god of thunder. The first clan leader was Hira Namikaze. It was to him that Hiroshige gave the scrolls with his techniques. And his eyes. The second leader was Shen Namikaze, or my grandfather. It was he who increased the clan. And he transferred him to Konoha, and the second Hokage Tabaram Senju took the technique of the flying thunder god and made it forbidden. Minato said, Not exactly, but only our clan members can use it 100%, and Hiroshige's eyes are available to us. They say they can't even stronger than Sharingan, Rinnegan and Tenseigan. So I want to teach you the technique of the flying thunder god. Minato took out the kunai and said, Here are my kunai. With their help, I can teleport. To do this, you have to throw the kunai and feel the chakra in the kunai and pull your chakra. Kunai and teleport. Understood. Minato showed me how to do it, and also said, Everyone has their own label, you have to choose your own. Naruto said, Nada. Minato said, First try it on my label, then you'll come up with it yourself. Naruto threw a kunai and started doing Hiroshige, and after an hour he could teleport. But only his limit was 100 meters. Minato was in shock, as he learned the technique in an hour, but then Naruto fell, unconscious. Minato picked him up and carried him into the house. Naruto woke up in a strange world, and Naruto heard a voice. Here Naruto Namikaze, I am Hiroshige, the god of thunder. Naruto said, Nahirashin-sama, I'm glad to meet you. Hiroshige said, Here, let's go without suffixes, you are the chosen one, it is you who carry my power, and can use all the techniques and eyes. Naruto said, Couldn't Namikaze use their eyes to complete the technique? Hiroshige said, Here, I have not transferred all the techniques to them, and the eye techniques have not all been transferred to them. And it is you who will complement their eyes. Not only can they see through time and space, but they cannot. They can still see the future, and you can also rewind time, come to me Naruto on Mikaze, and get what you deserve. Naruto came up, and Hiruzen touched Naruto's forehead, and he shouted for about 5 minutes after Hiruzen said, "Here. My knowledge will help you, but your eyes will wake up when you will be 12 years old, and here is your mark." Note: the label was labeled Thunder, Japanese Senda. Hiruzen said, "Hokage, you can make a path here. Naruto on Mikaze is always open to you, and now go." Naruto woke up in his room. Kushina saw Naruto and hugged him. Naruto said, "You'll strangle me with mom." Minato flew into the room with a bump on his head. Minato said, "Me son, how are you?" Naruto said, "It's okay to talk to you, it's secret, not a word to anyone." Minato and Kushina looked at each other and nodded their heads. Naruto said, "In reality, he met Hiruzen and said that I was chosen by him and gave me his power and knowledge. I also have my own mark." Naruto showed the mark to his parents. It looked like 3 lightning bolts. But he also said that our clan does not have all the abilities of the eyes, and he said that I can see the future and move through time. There was a barrier in Hokage's house so that no one would hear. Minato said, "Me, so you are his first rebirth." Naruto nodded and said, "But I also have access to his world, and there I can make a kunai, or a weapon." Everyone was shocked by what Naruto said. Minato said, "Miladno, tomorrow I will send a clone to train you well, and now rest. Tomorrow the beginning of the most difficult training will begin." Naruto nodded, and the parents left the room, and Kushina said, "Ku, what do you think?" Minato said, "I don't think he needs to be trained hard tomorrow. I will learn his element and train him. You also teach him strong fuinjutsu so that he becomes stronger than Kage, since he can be hunted." Kushina nodded, and they went to bed. The next morning, Naruto got up, took water treatments, cleaned the room, got dressed and went downstairs. Minato was downstairs, and Naruto Kushina wished good morning, and sat down at the table. Having had breakfast, Minato said, "Me Naruto, I will leave a clone, and he will train you for 5 hours, and he will train you for the same amount, and mom training will be difficult for what? So that you become stronger and can resist your enemies. Got it?" Naruto nodded, and he and Minato went out into the backyard. In the backyard, Minato started talking. "Minaruto, now your task is to strengthen the technique of the Flying Thunder God and remove the limit of 100 meters. Learn the dance of the Thunder God, the sentence of the Thunder God, the fury of the Thunder God. I'm giving you time to learn in 1 year in parallel. You will be learning Fuinjutsu. Mom, to make you stronger, I will leave a clone to help train." Minato gave the clan scrolls. There were 3 of them, but they were large and created clones. And he teleported to the residence, and Naruto began to train. Naruto took an ordinary kunai and put his seal and threw it into the very edge of the polygon. By the way, the polygon is large, and Naruto teleported to the label. The label was 500. Minato was blown away by Naruto again, as he teleported to the mark again from the first time. Minato said, "Not Naruto, try to throw the kunai much further." Naruto threw the kunai, and it landed in the forest 10 kilometers away. He is Kanahi, and Naruto teleported there, but there was not very much chakra. Minato teleported to his son and said, "Minaruto, well done, apparently your limit. While it's 10 kilometers for your age, it's incredible. I could teleport there at 5 years old. Only 2 kilometers, and you are already 4 times more. Okay, let's go rest, and go to your mom for training." Naruto had lunch at home, rested for an hour, and went with Kushina to train. "Ku Naruto, now I'm going to teach you a strong fuin. You have an excellent command of weak and medium techniques. And now I'm going to teach you strong ones, but they use a lot of chakra, so be ready." Naruto said, "I'm ready for mom." Kushina said, "Ku is good. The first technique I would like to train will be a barrier of white light. It is great to block the opponent's chakra and torment his time. It goes there differently. There is 1 hour, 1 second here." Kushina folded the seal, and a white barrier appeared and covered most of the polygon. Naruto started repeating to fold the seal, but Naruto did not succeed. He did not lose heart. He tried to master this barrier. And 3 days later, Naruto was able to create it, but it was smaller than Kushin's. Meanwhile, in parallel, Naruto was learning the technique, the dance of the Thunder God. Naruto spread out 10 kunai and began to teleport to them, and inflicted Ron with a dummy, but it seemed to him that he teleported too slowly. So, 1 month has passed, Naruto has finally learned Thunder God dance techniques, also learned 3 uzumaki techniques. Naruto stats. Min is a weak chunin. Tai medium chunin. Fui Nuzumaki a class. Shurikyu 9/10 of hits. Jean didn't own it. Jean didn't own it. Futon techniques breakthrough, great breakthrough, vacuum bullets, air cover. Techniques of God, thunder, flying thunder god, dance of the thunder god. Fuinjutsu, sealing techniques, barriers, etc. One day Naruto was walking down the street and saw that some genins were pestering a girl with red hair, and Miyumiya Uzumaki Naruto decided to stand up for her. On her, aren't you ashamed to put 4 to the lady? Genin looked at Naruto and said, Gen 1, oh look. Look, son of Hokage, let's finish him off. Naruto scattered the kunai and began to teleport and hit them. And after he had finished them, he went up to one of them and said, but if you are geniuses, then how can I explain that I have finished you? And I'm not a student of the academy yet. Until he killed you. All the genins fled. Naruto came up to her and said, how are you? Mia said, Mia, not really thank you. Naruto said, what's your name for me, Namikaze Naruto? Mia said, Mia Uzumaki? Naruto said you have a family home. Mia said Mia was gone, I was kicked out of the village, and my parents died at home. Naruto took her and put her on her back, and she blushed, and Naruto said, well, then you'll be my sister, how old are you? Mia said Mia is 5 years old, Naruto said. He will appoint us, we are the same age, okay, let's go home sister. Naruto took Mia home, and Naruto said, Mom, I'm at home to meet the guests. Kushina went out into the corridor, and Kushina said, Son, and who is this? Naruto said, on this Mia, I wanted us to take her in. I saw her get beaten up in Konoha the same way you were. I felt sorry for her. She was kicked out of the village, and her parents died. Kushina asked, where are you from Mia? Mia said, Mia, I'm in the village of Hidden Grass. Kushina understood that she looked like her and said, Mia, call me mom. Later, both Kushina and Naruto came home and told Minato about me, and he agreed, since she looks like Kushina as a child. Naruto showed her where her room would be, and Mia was surprised because the room was bigger than her apartment. Naruto said, on you, where you lived, you need to move things. Mia said, Mia is not far from the academy, let's go, I'll show you. After 30 minutes, Naruto and Mia came to Mia's apartment, and Naruto sealed things, he took her by the shoulder, and teleported back to the house on Mikaze. Naruto said, make yourself comfortable, you'll sort things out yourself, and I'll go to my parents. Mia nodded, and tears poured out of her eyes because she had the family she dreamed of. At the bottom, Naruto said, Mom, Dad, I'm going to Hiroshima tomorrow, you need to create Kune for himself so that don't lose me, maybe I won't be a day or 2 mom will train Mia Fuina. Kushina said, Kush, all right son. Naruto also said this to Mia, and she was sad. But Naruto said when he came, he would teach her techniques, she was delighted. The next morning, Naruto showed up. Near Hiroshima. Hiroshima said, here, O Naruto, you are here to create a weapon. Naruto said, Nada, I want to create a kun and a katana. It took 2 days of Kuna and Naruto. There were 3 petals, only the corners were sharp, they were angular like Minato's. And a katana, which he called Fureshu from the Japanese flash. Naruto said, thank you Hiroshi Kia for your hard work, but I have to go, for now everyone. And Naruto disappeared. The next morning, Naruto got up at 5 a.m., took water treatments, did exercises, got dressed and went down to on the first floor, and started to cook breakfast. After 30 minutes, Kushina came down and said, Kusanek, what has come over you? Naruto said, I'm sorry mom, I just wanted to cook breakfast, and then you cook all the time, I felt sorry for you. Go wake up dad, I have breakfast almost ready. Kushina got up and started waking up Mia and Minato. After about 15 minutes, Mia and Minato went down and saw a chic table. Naruto had prepared miso pancakes with rice, butter with honey and tea with coffee. Everyone started having breakfast, everyone praised Naruto's food after breakfast. To the backyard, and Minato began to say, Miladno, let's start Naruto, continuing to train with techniques. And Mia will learn Fuinjutsu, you understand. Naruto and Mia said, yes, now I will describe what Mia looks like. Black shinobi sandals with high heels. Black knee-length shorts and a red dress with a yellow pattern on the back was the clan's coat of arms. Uzumaki hair is red, bangs are removed to the right side of the hair, blue eyes reached the waist, the figure was excellent. And even a small chest began to protrude. While 0.5 size. The author about Naruto will not write much, but more attention will be paid to Mia. Naruto took out a kunai as a word, he has 100,000 of them, just sealed in a scroll. Scattered exactly 10 pieces and began to teleport. From kunai to kunai. Fast forward to Kushina and Mia. Kushina began to say, Ku, daughter, tell me, do you know what fui is? Mia said, Mia no mom, I have no idea. Kushina said, Ku, I see okay, listen to fuinjutsu, or sealing technique. They are techniques of the Uzumaki clan, since they use large reserves of chakra, not every shinobi can use them. They are mainly used to seal things in a scroll or a person, if you know the right seals, or put up a barrier. Barriers can be different. Difficulties from weak to barriers of the USSR class, they can use from a small to a huge amount of chakra understood. Mia nodded. You okay now I will teach you how to seal ordinary things like weapons, tent clothes and so on. Watch the seals. Activated the chakra flow. Mia nodded, she said. Mia, yes, I did, and even drove through the chakra channels, and I know how to walk on trees and water. Kushina said, Ku, well done, okay, look. Kushina began to fold the seals and said, Ku, seal the technique. And the kunai was sealed. Mia filled out the seals and folded them and shouted, Mia sealing technique. Kunai was sealed, Kushina said, Ku, well done, Mia, you're learning fast now. I will teach you a simple barrier that can save you from Chunin, but Jonin can destroy it. Kushina folded the seals again and shouted, Ku, Uzumaki has a barrier seal. The barrier was small, Mia started making a barrier, but it turned out to be small. Kushina said, Ku, well done, Mia, I see you have a good command of the chakra, only you got in a little more. Chakra, and the barrier will be more for today, we will continue everything tomorrow. Naruto and Mia were walking around Kanahi, and Naruto asked, well, let's go to the store and buy you clothes, otherwise you don't have enough of them. Mia said, Mia is fine, not isn't. Naruto and Mia went into the store, and Naruto said, hello, we would like clothes for this lovely lady. Mia was embarrassed by Naruto's words. The old man said, Este, follow me well. They were in the store for an hour. Mia bought black shinobi sandals with a small heel, black shorts, and a red and blue dress. Naruto gave 10,000 rubles on his knees with the coat of arms of the Uzumaki clan. And he saw that 3 genins were pestering a girl of 4 years old, like Naruto, and Naruto said, Nah Mia. Go home, I'll be there soon. Mia nodded and went home. Naruto threw a kunai and was near the girl. Naruto said, you are not ashamed to attack a girl of 5 years old, and you are 12 years old at most. Naruto just beat them in taijutsu, and they ran away. Naruto gave his hand to the girl. Naruto said, what's your name? The girl said, Hinata Hyuga. The answer is for you. Naruto said, on Naruto Namikaze, let me help. Naruto gave his hand to Hinata, and she accepted the help. Naruto said, on Hinata, where do you live? Hinata said, Hin is in the Hyuga clan quarter. Naruto went with Hinata to the Hyuga quarter and went down. After 10 minutes they were already there. Hinata hugged Naruto and thanked him and ran away, and Naruto went home. At home, Naruto met Kushina with a frying pan and hit Naruto with it. Naruto said, well, for what? Kushina said, thank you for coming home late. Naruto washed his hands and sat down at the dinner table. Naruto and Mia went to their rooms. So 1 year passed, Naruto completely learned the techniques on Mikaze, and Mia learned the barriers of D and C rank. Minato began to say, Min, and so we have another half a month before you go to Naruto Academy now, you will learn the elements as well as Mia. And so here are 5 chakra conducting sheets for you. Direct the chakra there and let's see what kind of element you have. Naruto directed chakra, and 1 leaf was cut by a foot. The second, wet Satan, and the third crumpled Raten. Being able to wet the first Satan, the second, the katoon burned, and the third futon was cut. Minato was in shock, he said. Minus futon, I will help, but I will talk about Raiden's katoon. And I will give you scrolls to Satan. We'll start training tomorrow, and I'm going to work. Now I will describe the statue of Naruto. Ning is an average chunin. Tai medium chunin. The Jin does not own. Ken wields like a weak samurai. Shuriken, Ju 10/10ths of the kunai and Shinbin's shurikens. Namikaze flying techniques. The God of Thunder, the dance of the God of Thunder, the fury of the God of Thunder, the sentence of the God of Thunder. Naruto Fuinjutsu can create a D and C rank barrier and can also seal things. Now Mia's stats. Min is a weak chunin, Tai is an average chunin. The Jin does not own, but it can dispel. Ken doesn't own it. Shurikenju is 10/10ths of the kunai and Shinbin's shuriken. Fuinjutsu D and C barriers and can seal items. It's been 6 months. During this time, Naruto mastered such spontaneous techniques as futon, breakthrough, Rasengan's air push, wind cut, air bullet mirage, and tornado. Naruto creates a huge layer of air, and it turns out a tornado. Satan water dragon, water prison, water clone, exploding water clone, great water dragon, water wall, and water avatar. Naruto covers huge. A layer of water and a samurai avatar is formed. But the worst thing he did with Ritten, he learned 3 techniques, such as Ritten Reikiri Dog of Lightning, and Paralysis. Naruto looked like this: black shinobi pants, black shinobi sandals, black and orange trowel hair. As according to the canon, but they looked like Minato's. Naruto also pumped his body, namely, he had 4 ABS cubes. A pretty strong body for his age. How things were like this: Satan, water dragon, great water dragon, water prison, water clone. An explosive water clone, a water prison, and also a water avatar. Katoon fireball, huge fireball, phoenix fire, fire dragon song, and firewall were created by Mia herself. But she did worse with the futon. She also learned 3 techniques. Futon, breakthrough, air push, and wind cut. I will not describe the appearance, look at the past parts, but I will describe that the breast has become much larger. Almost 3 sizes, namely 2.9 sizes. I received a chick-conducting frying pan, and also know how to sort out the strands. Developed into 9 curls, in general, the second kusha. Tomorrow Naruto, having to go to Naruto Academy. Having not only trained physically, but also mentally, Naruto read books about history books, about chakra poems, and so on. I also read books about history. The world of shinobi chakra, and Minato is also hokage in medicine, but pays attention to the family. And leaves a clone of Kushina in the residence, also host the house, but also began to perform missions as a jonin. The next morning, Naruto and Mia woke up at 6 a.m. We did water procedures, got dressed, made the bed, and went to the landfill. There they practiced for 1.5 hours. Naruto ran around the training ground 40 times in a squat, 90 times push-ups, 90 times press, 110 times pull-up, 80 times. And the plank hour, Mia had such things 35 times around the polygon, in the 70th squat press, minus 90 times pull-up, 70 times, and also the plank hour after that. Naruto and Mia went home at home, already in full swing, cooked breakfast, ate, and Minato live. He went to the residence, as it was necessary to prepare a speech for the Naruto Academy. Mia and the Kushins sat down at the table, had breakfast, got dressed, and went to the academy. On the way to the academy, Naruto and Mia thought about who their teacher would be, what kind of classmates they would have, and whether it would be fun at the academy. And what will they be able to teach them there? At the academy, Kushina with Naruto and Mia stood near a tree and listened to the speeches of the director of the academy. Naruto and Mia saw a lot of clan children, and also without clan, there were also 3 children of the Uzumaki clan. And on the Mikaze clan, there were Uchiha. And the monarchs of the south were Nara Akimichi, and Nadzuka Aburami and Senju, and there were clansless ones like Sakura and others. Then Minato came out and started talking about the fact that shinobi is the military power of Kanahi. That everyone has a huge will for the village, that they are the future of this village. And in the future they will protect their family of parents, wife, and children. Then Minato said that they would summon one to the ball, and he would determine their chakra strength. Green is weak, and red and black are elite class. I'll go straight to the list. Sasuke Uchiha is red, then black. Shoji Akimichi is red, then black. Sakura Haruna red, Inaimanaka red, Shikamaru Nara red, then black. Hinata Hyuga red, then black. Kiba and Nadzuka red. Taira Aburami red, Tenten red. Niji Hyuga is red, then black. Rock Lee is red. Reina Mikaze is red. Saf Namikaze is red, then black. Mina Namikaze red. Karen Uzumaki red. Ru Uzumaki is red, then black. Sayuri Uzumaki is red. Mita Senju is red, then black. Lady Senju is red. Miya Uzumaki red took a step, black took another step. The ball shattered, Minato and Kushina were shocked, and Naruto smiled. Naruto on Mikaze black took a step ball into the trash, the same as the media. Then the director said that all those who were listed got into the elite class, and the mentors will have a good hand. And all the children entered the class. In class, Iruka started talking. Greetings to all. In class, my name is Yumina Iruka. I'm your homeroom teacher for the next 6 years. Let's get to know you. Tell me what you like and don't like, and your goal and dream. Let me continue. What I love is ramen and obedient students. What I don't like is disobedient students. And those who stick to the weak. My dream is to make you the best students of the academy. The goal is to become the director of the academy. And now the first one will be Uchiha Sasuke. Sasuke came out and walked over to the board. The very name of Uchiha Sasuke. What I love is training with Nezen tomatoes. What I don't like is when I don't train. And when Nezen doesn't train me and goes on a mission to become stronger. My brother and the goal is to become the head of the Uchiha clan. They're next Kiba and Nadzuka. My name is Kiba and Nadzuka. What I love is my dog Akamaru training and playing with him. What I don't like is when dogs are bullied and when mom beats me. My dream is to become good. And to make everyone start walking with dogs, the goal is to become the head of the Inuzuka clan. Sakura Haruna. My name is Sakura Haruna. What I love is a look at Sasuke. What I don't like is someone who sticks to the weak and humiliates me. My dream is a look at Sasuke. The goal is to surpass the great Tsunade Senju. Here is the next Ina Imanaka. And in my name Ina Imanaka, what I love is flowers. A look at Naruto and Sasuke do not like those who take poor care of flowers and spoil their dream to grow a special kind of flowers. The goal is to become the head. Yamanaka clan and Shikamaru Nara. My name is Shikamaru Nara. What I like is to sleep and to be lazy. What I don't like is when my mother worries and strains me. My dream is to become a cloud and fly far, far away. The goal is to become the head of the Nara clan. By the way, the Nara clan is lazy. Not because he is stupid and so on, but because they are brilliant, and because of this they like to be lazy. Niji Hyuga. My name is Niji Hyuga. What I love, I'll keep to myself. What I don't like is when Hinata is bullied herself. My dream is to become strong and protect the clan goal. The same as a dream. Hinata Hyuga. Hi, my name is Hinata Hyuga. What I love is my brother Niji's family. A look at Naruto. I don't like that there is no dream to create a family with one person. A look at Naruto. The goal is to become the head of the Hyuga clan. Tenten. My name is Tenten. What I love is weapons, and I collect them. What I don't like is a bad attitude to weapons dream. To become like the legendary Tsunade Senju, the goal is to open a shop with weapons, but not simple and rare. Ironically. Whether my name is Rock, only what I love is hard training with Gai Shinsei. What I don't like is not to train a dream. To become a strong ninja in taijutsu, the goal is to prove that ninjas also have to be firm without ninjutsu, but in taijutsu. I'll skip the members on Mikaze and Uzumaki and move on to Naruto, Uzumaki. My name is Miya Uzumaki. What I love is training with my brother Naruto and my family. What I don't like is when someone pesters the weak and beats them, and when Naruto is late home. Gets from me, or mom will talk with a frying pan. The dream is to find a guy and start a family. The goal is to become the head of the Uzumaki clan, like my mom. Naruto Namikaze. In my name, Naruto Namikaze. What I love is family and training. I don't like it so self-confident people. And I also don't like those who hurt weakness. Weak about the dream, I will not talk like this, and the dream goal is to become the head of the Namikaze clan, and unite my clan. And the Uzumaki clan. Kiba said, Kit, your clan is probably weak. I have not heard such a namikaze clan. Naruto looked at him with heavy eyes, at which Sakura also nodded. The rest of the namikaze wanted to intervene, but Naruto did it first with a flash of yellow, and said, You're from the clan, and Nadzuka, I'm right, everyone looks stupid there. If you didn't know who namikaze were, then I'll tell you, they are called followers of the god of thunder. Hireshina, because he created our clan. Oh yes, ask Sasuke Uchiha, who knows about him, or we are in league with them. Everyone was shocked, as Namikaze and Uchiha are also allied with the Uzumaki clan. The rest of the Namikaze were glad that their leader had protected their clan and defended it. After that, Naruto, Miya, and Kushina went to the grocery store. Miya said that Naruto defended his honor. The Namikaze clan, and Kushina asked, And who was it? Naruto said he was from the Inuzuka clan. Kushina laughed. At home, Naruto, Kushina, having prepared the table, then came the names. They noted Minato. Along the way, Naruto told about the same case, and Minato congratulated him after Naruto having gone to their rooms and fell asleep in the kingdom of Morpheus. The end. Naruto techniques. Shadow cloning. Multiple shadow cloning. Rasengan. Henji. Replacement. Walking on trees and water. Futon techniques. Written and Sultan. Fuinjutsu, white wolf barrier, purple barrier. A barrier of 4 faces, sealing the ruins. Also Namikaze techniques. See the previous parts. Mi techniques, shadow cloning, multiple shadow cloning, Henji, replacement, walking on trees and water. Techniques of Suten, Katun and Futon, Fuinjutsu, like Naruto. A week has passed since the moment when the future Genin started to come to the academy. Among them were such as Sasuke, Uchiha, Shoji, Akimichi, Ina, Yamanaka, Shina, Aburami, Hinata, Hyuga, Neji, Hyuga, and others. Among them were Naruto and Miya. By the way, Naruto was smart as well as Shikamaru Nara, but he was not lazy, as Miya was also smart, but not like that. Such as her sworn brother, and here again. Naruto and Miya were going to the academy. Naruto didn't show all his trump cards the same way, having Naruto today, having will be the first sparring. Naruto wanted to fight Sasuke. Miya, she wanted to fight Sakura. She really pissed her off. When Naruto and Miya came to the academy, they saw such a picture to Sasuke. They're bothering the Kiba girl again. They're bothering Hinata. Shikamaru. Shuji is sleeping again. There is Neji. Naruto is just sitting. He approached the girls and said, Sorry, but I and my sister will sit down with Sasuke. All the girls left. Only Sakura looked at Naruto and his sister with displeasure, but they did not notice her. Sasuke said, Sas, thanks for the Mikaze. Naruto indicated with his hand that it was not worth thanking after that. And the hand came and began to say, and so since everything is here, then you can start now. We have now theory, then practice throwing iron, and after that sparring. Okay, let's start. 2 lessons were held as usual. There they talked about the history of Kanaka, about who founded Kanaka, what is the chakra, and why it is needed. After that class, I went to the training ground. The courtyard of the academy. Hand began to speak. So now I'm going to see which one of you throws kunai shurikens, and how. And the Shinbins will start with the list. The first one will be Negi Hugo. Neji went to the playground, and took 5 kunai, and shuriken first threw a kunai, and all hit the target. Then the shurikens also hit the target, followed by the shinbones, and also all hit the target. Iruka was amazed by his technique, followed by Kiba. Kiba hit 3 out of 5 kunai, 2 out of 5 shinbins, and 3 out of 5 shurikens. I will say right away. Sakura shurikens 3 out of 5 kunai. 3 out of 5 shinbins, 3 out of 5, Ina 4 out of 5 shurikens, kunai and shinbins, Shoji 4 out of 5. Hinata 5 out of 5, Rock Lee 3 out of 5, Sasuke 5 out of 5, Rei 4 out of 5, Sa 5 out. 5, Mina 5 of 5, Karen 4. 4 out of 5, Ro 5 out of 5, Sayuri 3 out of 5, Mita 4 out of 5, Shikamaru 4 out of 5. Naruto saw that Shikamaru had missed on purpose. Naruto said, But you made it look like that on purpose. Shikamaru was surprised that someone saw that he missed. He said, as you understand, Naruto said. But you just made a wave of your hand with the last kunai shuriken, and Shinbonov not like the others, but made it so that you lay down. Because the Nara clan has a strong brain, but with this you are very lazy. Shikamaru was shocked, because he was right. Iruka said, and the next Mia Uzumaki. Mia went to Sakura's playground, thinking that she would hit once and miss 4. She said, "Sak, you will miss the losers." Mia looked at Naruto, he nodded and Mia nodded iron, and everyone hit the center and punched the target, and we flew on, because she added the element of air. Everyone hit the target. Mia looked at Naruto, the one who put his thumb, and the hand said, "Mia, the best result is the next Naruto on Mikaze." All the girls were in shock. Naruto took everything from the table and also soaked the poems and the air and stood in the rack, and the hand saw the rack of the 4th as well. And Sasuke Kiba said, "Kiba, and the loser, you will miss." Naruto threw all the pieces of iron and hit the targets, also destroyed all the targets. He took his father's kunai and threw it into Kiba's jacket and looked at him like that. With a look that it was bad for everyone, he used Hiraishin and took Kun and Irek, said, "Here is the best result, the same as Mia's." Naruto stood next to me, and Ruka continued, "Here, and so the best of you have become, me Uzumaki Naruto, Namikaze, Sasuke, Uchiha, Shikamaru Nara, Nei, Hyuga Hinata Hyuga Safmina, and Ro. Now we will have the first sparring of Shikamaru Nara against Shoji Akimichi." Both opponents took to the field, but after the start both gave up, said that it was a hemorrhoid hand. Told both to give a symbol of truce, so they did and stood on place. "I'll skip the fights, I'll tell you right away." And opposite the mines is a draw. Kiba vs Niji defeated Niji. Lee vs Saf defeated Saf. Tintin vs Hinata won Hinata. Karen vs Mita defeated Mita. Sayuri vs Rei is a draw. Ro vs Naruto, Ro refused, Naruto won. Iruka said, "And the next pair of me Uzumaki vs Sakura Haruun." Mia and Sakura entered the field, and Iruka gave a sign, and Sakura began to attack Mia, but she evaded. Because Minato himself taught her. Together with Naruto, she put a block of Dean. I made a running board. Sakura started provoking Mia. "Sak, I'm gonna kill you first, then your brother and a family of losers." Mia got angry at Sakura, and she began to curl 9 strands of hair. Aki was murderous. Naruto turned up next to Mia and put his hand and said, "Calm down, she's just provoking you." Dressed her with 1 attack. Mia calmed down because Naruto could calm her down. Mia directed the chakra into her fist and hit her in the head, that Sakura flew into the wall of the academy and made a crack, and the hand was near Sakura and carried away. She was taken to the hospital, and the girls began to respect and fear Mia, and Sasuke began to have feelings for her. After that, Iruka appeared and said, "Here, the winner of Mia Uzumaki, the next pair of Naruto on Mikaze, and Sasuke Uchiha." Both rivals entered the arena, and Iruka gave the go-ahead. Sasuke said, I hope that we will show them a spectacle." Naruto nodded and rushed at each other. No one was inferior in taijutsu, so they fought for about 5 minutes and a hand. Allowed to use some techniques, but not stronger than the rank of S. Sasuke activated Sharingan and began to attack Naruto. Everyone was watching with the expectation of something incredible, because now the best students of the academy are fighting. Sasuke used a fireball, and Naruto stood still, but uttered a word that horrified everyone. "But I have a responsibility on my shoulders, I can't lose." And 10 centimeters from Naruto, he used Hiraishin, and the flash disappeared, and ended up behind Sasuke, and used an air push. Sasuke flew away, but managed to get to his feet, but then a hand stopped them, saying, "Enicha, lay down your hands truce." Sasuke and Naruto came over and folded the seals. Sasuke said, "And you're not bad at Mikaze." Naruto smiled and said, "Like you." Both returned to their seats. Everyone was shocked by the sight, and by the fact that Naruto had just said exactly the phrase of the 4th. After that, everyone began to respect Naruto. Her sister Asakura will forever understand that it is impossible to anger Uzumaki, and will begin to treat Naruto with a neutral attitude. After that, Naruto had left the academy at home, told his parents everything at dinner, and everyone went to bed. In the view of tomorrow is a new day. It's been about 3 years Naruto. Tomorrow marks his 12th birthday, and according to Hiraishin, his strength will awaken. And also, Daijutsu, namely Naruto Hiragen, has changed a lot. He looked exactly the same as Minato. At his age, only hair, orange abs on the body muscles, and also hid his emotions. His main word, "I have a responsibility on my shoulders, I can't lose." Mia began to look like a second cushion breast, became 3 sizes, wore all the same clothes, learned how to produce indestructible chains. 5 chains in a week firm Naruto. There will be an exam in it, put on by God alone, and Hokage knows what the stages will be there. In the morning, Naruto woke up first. He got up, went to the shower. After 15 minutes, he went out and went to the bedroom, made the bed, he got dressed, and went to the landfill behind the house time. By the way, it was about 5-30, starting with a run. He ran 30 laps around the polygon. After that, he created 5 shadow clones, and sent them one to meditate, the second and third, to practice taijutsu 4. And sent them to practice the Hiroshin technique. By the way, he could teleport to kilometers away, but he was unhappy with the results. 5 to work out the whirlwind of the thunder god, and he himself continued to train physically. After half an hour woke up, having. She also began to train under the same conditions as Naruto, an hour past Naruto, having unless or clones, and they went to wash their hands, and at the table, after that Naruto and Mia went to the academy. The fan club at the academy was divided into 2 camps. The first one was Yuchi's fan base, and the second one was a fan. The Mikaze club, by the way, Naruto and Sasuke began to compete, but there were also friends. Mia also had admirers, or rather, all the boys, but she didn't like it, just like Naruto. And it rather infuriated Sasuke the third, and it was so that Sakura hit Mia, since she was sitting next to Naruto. And Sasuke, but Naruto was behind Sakura's back and said, "You've lost your fear. I can kill you now that even the village will not cry, only your parents." He used the chakra in his hands and hit Sakura in the stomach that she crashed into the wall after that. He helped Mia up, and she sat down next to Naruto and Sasuke. Naruto and Mia ended up at the academy and sat down. On the last batch, Uchiha sat down there. Sasuke started to say, "Sas, listen to Naruto, let's triple the pairing after the academy." Naruto smiled and said, "I don't mind." The lessons were, as usual, after the end of Naruto, and Sasuke went to the training ground of the academy, gathered there. The whole school is also a hand. And, as a rule, you know, you can use everything but not kill. After that, Iruka gave a sign, and Naruto stood up in his own stance. And Sasuke ran at Naruto, but he just dodged. He did it for 2 minutes. Until Sasuke got tired of it, and he folded the seals and shouted, "Sakuton Fireball." Sasuke gave out a ball of 5 by 5 meters, but Naruto smiled out of the corner of his lips. A fan club. Sasuke thought that Naruto had won, but it was not there. At 30 centimeters, Naruto began to fold the seals. On the futon breakthrough, Naruto quickly dodged and found himself behind Chie, and said, "Nah, you have pumped your skills well. If I had hesitated, I would have lost." After that, Iruka said it was a draw. After that, everyone went home, so the whole week passed. And so Naruto went to bed, and he was there again. In the very place where Hiroshin first met. Hiroshin began to speak. "Here, I greet you again. Naruto Namikaze, your hour has come. I grant you strength, and you are the executor of my will. And the first one who owns this doujutsu." Hiroshin touched his forehead, and Naruto began to scream in pain. And from the information of the techniques that Hiroshin passed to Naruto. After he said, "Here my knowledge will appear gradually, so that learn to use my gifts for good." Naruto said, "But I won't let you down, Hiroshin-sama." After that, Naruto opened his eyes and found himself at home for a while. It was 7:00. Today was Naruto's birthday on October 10th, and the Genin exam. Naruto got up, started dressing, and went downstairs, where Minato was sitting, having okushino cooking on the table. Naruto said, "I have a secret for all. Good morning, but I have no one not to tell." His eyes are devoid of his knowledge. Everyone looked at Naruto, and Minato said, "Min, okay son, but you can show me." Naruto gave the chakra into his eyes, and after he opened them, everyone saw the eyes. They were yellow, with a lightning bolt image. Minato said, "Min, okay, we won't tell anyone, but you don't show them to anyone." Naruto nodded, and then everyone started congratulating Naruto on his birthday. The birth of Naruto, having breakfast, having poisoned the academy. As usual, half of the girls were at the academy. Pestered Naruto's Kuchii, having passed by and sat down on the next party. In about 2 minutes, the hand came. And Mizuki and the hand began to say, I welcome you today. You are taking the Genin exam. You will have 3 stages, the first written, the second test, and the Mita. Shuriken Kunave and Sinbonov, and also sparring, is a demonstration of techniques. So, now you will be given sheets with questions, you have to answer them. Your time is 40 minutes, and so let's go. Naruto and me wrote the test in 10 minutes, which was very surprised by Iruka and Mizuki. Sasuke wrote Shikamaru in 15 minutes, Sakura and Ina wrote Choji in 30 minutes, wrote in 35 minutes, and the rest in 40 minutes. After that, the students went to the academy's training ground there and started throwing shurikens. Mizuki started talking. Miss, so now you're going to take 10 kunai shurikens and shinbens each, you have to hit the target. Let's go. The first Sasuke came out, he hit 9 kunai, 10 shurikens, and 10 shinbens. Shikamaru 8 kunai 8 shurikens. Naruto noticed that Shikamaru deliberately missed, but he didn't say anything. Kiba is 7/10 kunai, 6/10 shuriken, 6/10 shinbens. I will skip, I will say Sakura 5/10 of the kunai and shinbens shurikens. And on the 70s kunai shurikens and shinbens. Even the same 70s kunai shurikens and shinbens. The next one was Mia, she took a throwing weapon and threw kunai, and everyone hit the target, as well as shuriken and shinbens. Everyone was in shock. The next one was Naruto. He also took throwing weapons and threw them, but only with Minato's technique, and all of the shuriken kunai and shinbens hit the target. Then there were sparring sessions. Sakura vs Ina is a draw. Kiba vs Shinshin 1. Tenten vs Hinata 1 Hinata. Rock Lee vs Nagi Nagi 1. Shikamaru vs Choji is a draw since they gave up. Mia won against Karen. Rei vs Sif is a draw. The next ones were Naruto vs Sasuke. They went to the center of the arena, and when Iruka signaled Naruto and Sasuke started in taijutsu, no one lost in taijutsu. They were on equal terms, so 5 minutes passed, they jumped back. Sasuke began to fold the seal and shouted, Sakuton, the great fireball. Naruto also folded the seal and said, he is a water dragon. Both techniques collided, and steam was formed. Naruto used a mirage, and Sasuke disappeared and attacked Naruto. But he passed by. Naruto folded the seal and said, he is a water prison. But Sasuke jumped back and also folded the seals and said, Sakata on the fire of the phoenix. Naruto used a breakout, and they collided, and then Iruka stopped them, said it was a draw. Then there was the third stage, there were technicians, everyone passed. Basically, there were techniques of cloning Henji, and any techniques to choose from. Sasuke showed kata to a fireball, but he was small. So as not to break the school of Mia, showed a water clone of Naruto, showed a mirage. Iruka congratulated everyone, and said that tomorrow there would be a distribution of teams, and said goodbye to Naruto. Having gone home, where they celebrated passing the exam. And Naruto's birthday, he was given clothes, a set of throwing weapons, and also a book about the fearless shinobi. After everyone went to bed, because tomorrow a new shinobi life will begin. The morning came, Naruto and Mia got up. Naruto started cleaning Amiya's room, went to the shower, after they changed, dressed. And, putting a leaf protector on their forehead, they went downstairs. There were Kushino in the kitchen. And Minato Kushino was cooking breakfast. And Minato was drinking coffee and reading the newspaper. Naruto having told the M's good morning. Kushins and Minato also said after the whole village. Minato asked for breakfast. Minu, what will you find out today? What kind of team and sensei do you have? Naruto and Mia nodded. They both wanted to be on the same team, but fate would arrange everything. And their father did not ask them for breakfast. Naruto and Mia left for the academy. They walked for about 5 minutes. When they arrived, everyone was already in class. Naruto and Mia sat down next to Sasuke. Mia sat in the middle of Naruto on the edge of Sakura, approached Naruto and said. Namikaze immediately left with his stupid sister from Sasuke-kun. Naruto, looking menacingly at Sakura, slowly stood up and, grabbing her by the collar, began to speak in a sepulchral voice. Listen to me, a clanless board, I can hear an insult addressed to me, but no one dares to insult. And humiliate my family, I'll kill anyone who says that. And I will make not only a member of the Namikaze clan, but also a member of the Uzumaki clan, and they are called red-haired demons. I will hear you again, I will kill you and your family, you understand me. Sakura nodded in fright, and then Naruto threw her into the wall, and a crack appeared there, as Iruka entered, and looked at that place. Asked what's going on here, who did it? Naruto stood up and said, I did it. Iruka said, why did you do it? Naruto continued. But she insulted my sister, how I should have reacted, patted her on the shoulder, and said that she was good. She was mold on bread, called kanaka. Iruka said, Sakura, why did you do that? Sakura said in tears, because she's still a creature like her brother. I don't care that they are the fourth children. Hokage, I will come at night and kill their whole family. How then? Naruto got very angry and, without thinking, activated Hiroshin mode and slowly approached Sakura as Minato appeared here. And, grabbing his son, said, what's going on here? Naruto, after looking at his father, returned to his former state. Sasuke stood up and said, I'm sorry. Hokage Nusakura Haruna herself just insulted Mia first. Then started talking to Shinsei's hand, then she started insulting you and your family, which will kill you all. Minato looked at Naruto, who was just looking at her with a look full of hatred, ready to kill her. Minato, removing his hands, said, Raven. Anbu in a raven mask appeared near Minato and said, you called Hokage yourself. Minato said, call another one to my office. The raven said, howl. Minato disappeared, used the Fuin of paralysis, and, taking her by the shoulder, moved into the office. Naruto, having calmed down, sat down, and everyone at the academy realized that it was not worth insulting Naruto or his family. Or it could kill him. And the hand continued. I am so glad that you graduated from the academy and became a full-fledged Kanahi shinobi. And I am very sad that you are leaving me, but I will give you some advice. Iruka started talking. About 30 minutes passed, and then he began to announce commands. Let's move to the Hokage residence 30 minutes ago. Minato, teleporting into the office, released Sakura and sat down at the table, and after 10 minutes, there was a knock on the office. Minato said, come in. Inoichi came into the office, and Raven Minato said, Raven, call Harun Mibuki, and Harun Kidzashi here. The Raven said, howl, and also disappeared. And Noichi said, Hokage-sama, why did you call me? Minato said, the situation is unpleasant, but at the academy about 15 minutes ago, I felt a huge splash of chakra. As it turned out, this is Naruto's chakra, I saw that. He goes to Sakura, and looks at her with a murderous look, and stopped him, and then asked what happened. Then Sasuke Uchiha said that she insulted his Mia, and she told me that she would kill us at night. I called to look at her memories. If it is confirmed, then send it. Her in the blade of rehabilitation. And Noichi, hearing this, was shocked. He nodded and touched Sakura's forehead, and began to look at the memories. As Sakura's parents knocked and entered, Mibuki said, Meb Hokage herself was called, but why is Sakura here? She's supposed to be at the academy. Nato said, Mimi, Buki and Kidzashi, I'm sorry to tell you this, but today, 35 minutes ago, your daughter wanted to hurt my children, and my son wanted to kill her, but I stopped him now. And Noichi looks at her memories. If this is so, then I, as the Hokage of the village, am obliged to send her to a psychiatric hospital for treatment, since she can harm not only herself, but also others. Sakura's parents nodded, and after 3 minutes and nights finished and said, Hokage herself, I checked her memories. And, unfortunately, it's true in yours. The daughter has a split personality, and it's not safe. It's better to send her to the hospital. I'm really sorry for Mibuki and Kidzashi. Minato looked at them and said, don't you think to send her to the hospital or continue walking, but it will only get worse. Mibuki said, she needs MEP. Help the way to go to the hospital, and help her, then she will stay like this. Minato nodded, and called a weasel, and told Sakura to be sent to the hospital. Let's move to the Iruka Academy. I started distributing students into teams. So the first team, the 10th Ina and Mana. Nakashi Kamaru Nara and Shoji Akimichi, your Shinsei Sarutobi Asuma. Team 9 Tenten Kahashi Rockly and Niji Hyuga, your Shinsei Moitagai. The team of the 7th Shin, Aburami Hinata Hyuga, and Kiba and Nadzuka, your Shinsei Kakashi Hataki. And the last command is 8. Sasuke Uchiha Miya Uzumaki and Naruto Namikaze are your Sensei Yui Kurenai. Iruka said goodbye to the graduates and left, and then Asuma and Kurenai entered. Asuma began to say, and from Team 10, send to the training ground, 10 we will get acquainted there. Kurenai said, at the team on the roof of the academy, we get to know each other better there. Naruto, me and Sasuke left the academy and went up to the roof. Kurenai was already there. She started saying, my name is Jui Kurenai. What I like is kind people who are ready to help others. And one person. What I don't like is the war, and the people who want it. The goal is to make you great shinobi dream of ending wars and marrying one man. Now you. Sasuke started first. The very name of Sasuke Uchiha. What I like is to train and spend time with the elder. The brothers don't like it when he doesn't train, and a girly fan club. The goal is to become stronger and beat my brother. And prove to everyone that I'm better than him. The dream is to become the best head of the clan. After Kirin and looked at Miya, she started talking. Miya, my name is Miya Uzumaki. What I like is family, when I train with my brother and cook with my mom. I don't like it when Naruto is late, and people who mock the weak. Aim is to become the best head of the clan. Uzumaki, a dream that there would be no wars. Kurenai nodded and looked at Naruto. In my name Namikaze. Naruto, what I love is to train my family and improve myself, that I don't like people's hatred, I don't like wars. And I don't like when my mother and sister beat me. The goal is to become the great head of the Namikaze clan, and justify the hopes of my father, and I won't talk to one person with them, it's a dream. Become a strong shinobi, and protect the people dear to me. The chicken was shocked, but smiled, and did not say, chickens. And so tomorrow at 9 o'clock. I'm waiting for you at Polygon number 8. We'll have a test there. If you go, we will carry out missions. Okay, good luck to you. The chicken disappeared into Shunshi. Naruto said, well, what can we celebrate? Sasuke said, sorry, Dabi, but I have to go home sometime later. And Sasuke left too. Miya and Naruto went home at home. Miya told Kushina about the day today, that Naruto almost killed Sakura. Then Kushina was shocked. She wanted to talk to Sakura's parents, but then Minato came home and said, I don't need to go anywhere. I've already talked to her parents myself, and she went to a mental hospital. In the evening, everyone began to have dinner with Naruto, and told her that she was in team number 8. Their mentor is Jui Kurenai. After that, the children went to bed. Minato approached Kushina, and began to say, not Kushina, today I saw Naruto have a huge amount of chakra. And its splash is even greater than that of the Uzumaki members. When I appeared at the academy, I saw a strange mode. Naruto, and a huge thirst for blood. He wanted to stop Sakura, but I stopped him. Kushina was shocked. She said, in the country of Minato, you need to watch Naruto and Sakura. You did the right thing by sending her to the hospital, but that he decided to protect Miya is from our Pash clan. Since we can kill anyone who insults the family. After that, Kushina and Minato went to bed. The next morning, Naruto and Mi were already at the training ground with Sasuke, and after 15 minutes, their smoking sensei came. She started saying, chickens, and so now you will have trials. You will need to find 3 scrolls in this one. Lisunu has genjutsu in 3 scrolls. If you can dispel them, then you can take the scroll. You have until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So let's go. Chicken set the clock, and Naruto, Miya, and Sasuke hid in the bushes and started. Naruto said, on Sasuke, you have already awakened Sharingan. Sasuke said, Sada, but only with one. That's my what? Naruto continued, you will be able to reflect the simplest genjutsu perfectly. I don't think our Shinsei will use strong genjutsu against genins. Miya, you're the sensor to identify the scrolls. Miya said. Miya understood, and started looking after 2 minutes. Miya opened her eyes and said, Miya, yes, I found the first scroll 100 meters away from us. The second one 300 meters to the west of us, and the last scroll is also 300 meters to the east of us. Naruto nodded and said, well, let's start with the near one and finish in the west. Okay, grab it. Sasuke and Mi grabbed Naruto's shoulder, and he used Hiraishin, and found themselves near the scroll. And a strange chakra enveloped our heroes, and found themselves in an illusion. Sasuke immediately dispelled the illusion, and took Naruto's scroll and said, on Sasuke Miya you have a scroll, to the east of here. I'm going to the west, so we'll cope faster. Sasuke and Miya nodded and left, and Naruto, using Hiraishin, disappeared, and appeared not far from the scroll, and went there. When he came, he was not affected by genjutsu. Naruto was puzzled by this, but decided to think about it later. He took the scroll and went to Shinsei. Let's move on to Miya and Sasuke. They walked for about 10 minutes, and found themselves near the scroll. They were again enveloped by the chakra, and they were in genjutsu this time. Sasuke could not dispel the technique, and they were in genjutsu for 5 minutes. But Naruto was able to dispel it. Flashback. Naruto was walking to Sensei, and then thought that he needed to find Sasuke, or he would need help, and went to them. When he came, he realized that me and Sasuke were now in genjutsu, and that Uchiha could not dispel it. He approached them and poured in the chakra, and thereby dispelled the technique. Naruto said, "Apparently, illusions differ in complexity. Okay, let's go." Sasuke decided to ask Naruto a question. How did you dispel the genjutsu from the second scroll? Mia was also puzzled by this question. Naruto said, "It's interesting for me too, but the illusion didn't affect me at all." And after 12 minutes, the team came out and gave the scrolls to Shinsei Kurina, and was surprised and said, "Well done. You can quickly see that you are working together. Okay, you can go to rest today or tomorrow and go for a mission. Now we are team number 8. And the chicken disappeared into Sasuke's shumshin. Naruto decided to ask. Naruto can be asked. Naruto said, "Go ahead." Sasuke continued. "Sakak, you have determined that genjutsu is weak, and you have also learned to think so well." Naruto said, "Sasuke, you sometimes amaze me. Why use Shinsei against genins, who became strong genjutsu only yesterday? We still don't know how to reflect much, but to the second question. So I'll explain me to you. Taught to think by Shikakunara himself." Flashback 4 years ago. Minato began to say, Naruto, a friend is coming today to teach you strategies to think and come up with strategies for 3 or more moves. His name is Shikakunara, so get ready, you're going to them in. After about 30 minutes, Naruto was already in the clan. Naruto knocked, and Shikaku opened the door. He said, So it's you, Naruto, come through well." Naruto went inside and saw Shikamaru and Shikaku's wife. He said, "Hello, Shikamaru, and hello." Yosina said, "Yo, hello, Naruto. My name is Nara Yosin." Naruto said, "On very nice Naruto, on Mikaze." Shikaku and Naruto went up to the second floor to the office. Shikaku started a conversation there. And so Naruto, I'm going to ask you one question. What to do if on you 10 enemy shinobi will attack your actions?" Naruto said, "I will attack with strong techniques, and kill them." Shikaku said, "Naruto can be defeated in another way, if you are able to develop tactics. And you can win both with small-scale techniques and a weak main one. The main thing is that you still have a chakra now. I will teach you based on the game of steps." This went on for 2 years. Naruto mastered tactics and strategies well and could beat Shikamaru and play shogi equally with Shikaku. Shikaku said, and so Naruto, what have you mastered in 2 years of practice and theory?" Naruto said, "Naya realized that it is impossible to win without tactics and strategy. That you need to think about several variants of events, and that if you are attacked by a lot of shinobi, then you can defeat them with weak technique. The main thing is that there should be a lot of chakras. Since in this case, you will be able to use the same technique several times more than you use one large-scale technique 2 or 3 times." Shikaku nodded and said one last thing. Yes, you really are a genius. I will tell your father that I taught you. Come visit Naruto." Naruto nodded and left. The end of the flashback. Sasuke said, I see, okay, I have to go until tomorrow." And Sasuke left Naruto and Mia, went to the Kuraman evenings to have a snack. After eating, they went back home. Minato was there, and the eaten Minato asked, well, how was the training?" Naruto said, "Well, the first mission passed tomorrow, and I'm also wondering why genjutsu didn't affect me." Minato said, I don't know, maybe it has something to do with your new powers." Naruto decided to contact Hiroshige, went to his room, and sat in the lotus position, and, having transferred to the world of the gods, there he met with Hiroshige. Naruto began to talk. "Hello Hiroshige, I have a question for you myself." Hiroshige began to speak. Hi Naruto, I'm listening to you." Naruto continued. "Today I had a test with my shinsei there in the scrolls. There was genjutsu, but it didn't affect me. Why?" Hiroshige began to say, why? "Because I have shared my power with you, you are my reincarnation, so you are not affected by any illusion. And this is not the whole power to speak. I won't know what surprises are waiting for you, so you wanted to talk." Naruto said, "No, even on the exam, a classmate made me angry. And I entered some kind of mode where I had an incredible number of chakras." Hiroshige continued. Here, you entered my mode, I call her. I'm his berserker mode, you'll find out about the possibilities yourself, okay. Good luck to you, Namikaze, Naruto. And Naruto opened his eyes on the clock. It was already 7 a.m. Naruto got dressed after having breakfast. He and Mia went to the residence. Mia asked Naruto, Mia, well, how did you find out about why Genjutsu doesn't work on you? Naruto said, but because I own the power of the Thunder God, therefore. When they arrived, they met Sasuke and Kirini, and they all entered Hokage's office together for a new mission. Minato started to say me, so team number 8, I'll give you the mission of rank C, you need to escort the bridge builders to the land of waves and wait until the Azuna-san bridge is completed. You can enter. A man of 55 years old came into the office and said, Tis, and they will protect me. I think they are weaklings. Kurenai said, Tazuna-san, they are the strongest graduates of the academy, you can be sure. Especially since only ordinary bandits will attack you. Tazuna turned pale, Naruto, the media noticed it, and Tazuna said, "'Tis well in an hour at the village gate." And Tazuna came out to Naruto, and said, it seems that he is hiding something, they saw how tense he was. When Sensei said that bandits would attack him, Mia also agreed, Minato said, me, if anything, watch out, you can go get ready for him. Sasuke Naruto, and Mia left to collect things, eat, put food, and Naruto sealed. Mia also arrived at the wrist, and they went out and waited for Sasuke, Kirin, and Tazuna, and after 15 minutes, they came and set off. Naruto and Mia waited for Kirin and Sasuke and Tazuna for 10 minutes, and they set off on Naruto's way. And Mia did not get out of her head that their employers possessed them. I cheated, and they were ready. And after 2 hours, Naruto, having with Kurenai, noticed a puddle. Kurenai noticed that Naruto, having noticed, and did not do anything, and thought that his students would do it themselves. And so, when they walked 20 meters from the puddle, they came out from there. There were 2 brothers, namely Gozu and Mizu, they are also called demon brothers, and Kurenai was pierced from behind. But Naruto? They were not at a loss, and Naruto threw kunai and teleported behind Gozu's back, and with a blow from Rasengan, Emiya knocked him out, suppressed the chakra with the help of Fuin seals. And with a blow to the neck, she also knocked him out. After that, a chicken jumped down from a tree and said, "Ku, well done Naruto Mia, you were not confused. And could protect the customer, Sasuke well done for not leaving him. Okay, now they will wake up and find out everything from them." Tazuna was scared, and was afraid that they might find out that Gaara was chasing him and wanted to kill Naruto. But they noticed it again and thought about it. Kurenai tied up the demon brothers with a sharp one, and after 10 minutes they woke up and Kurenai started asking, "Ku. And so who are you, who hired you?" Gozu said, "Go fuck yourself, bitch." But Kurina killed the first apostate and turned to the second one and began, "Ku, I repeat, for the second time, who are you? And who hired you, or you will go after your brother?" Mizu got scared and said, "I'm fine, my name is Mizu, his name is Gozu, we are brothers. Demons Gaara hired us to kill bridge builder Tazan." Kurenai said, "Thank you." And she took him and killed him. After that, she turned around and began to say with a menacing look, "Alas, you don't want to explain anything to Tazuna-san. Why these people are hunting you?" Tazuna lowered his head and said, "'Tis well, in fact, there is very little money in our country to pay for the mission. More, because one man appeared in our country, his name is Gaara, he seized all the power for himself. And keeps all people in fear of me and my people. We want to build a bridge to the village of Hidden Mist so that we can live better, but forget. It will be equivalent to him going bankrupt, and it benefits him to kill me and my people. And I had to lower the rank of the mission, if you want, then you can. It's your right to leave." Kurenai looked at the team and said, "Godfather, what do you think?" Sasuke said, "Sa, I'm in favor of continuing." Mia said, "Mia, me too." Naruto said, "On Mishinobi, or who are we obliged to help?" Kurenai turned to Tazuna and said, "Ku, you are lucky that." My team agreed, but I will send an email to Hokage. Kurenai called the falcon and wrote a letter, gave it back, and the falcon flew back to Konoha, and Naruto went up to Tazuna and put the seal of Tazuna on his shoulder and said, "Ta, what did you do?" Naruto replied, "But he put the Thunder God's seal on you. If there is still an ambush, then I can teleport you to a safe place." After that, team number 8 set off. Then they walked for about 2 hours, when Naruto Kurenai, having felt someone else's chakra, and Kurenai said, "Cool all on the ground." Everyone lay down on the ground, and Naruto did a backflip. How then, the sword crashed into a tree, and a guy about 27 years old landed on the sword. He was covered in bandages. His name was Mami Zabuza, one of the 7 swordsmen of the mist. Zabuza said, "Ask me that old man, and you will live." Kurenai said, "Kumamoki. Zabuza is one of the 7 swordsmen of the mist. Glad to meet you." Mummy said, "Zhao, chicken illusion, I've heard a lot. Give me the old man to you and you can go." Kurenai said, "Kunit he, our customer, team 8, protect. I can handle Tazan myself." After that, Mami was near the customer, but Naruto folded several seals and said, "At the first stage, Hirashin teleportation." And Tazuna disappeared to Kunai, who left Naruto. Zabuza was surprised and said, "Why the 4th Hokage here?" Naruto said, "No, it's just his son. I won't let you kill him here." After that, Naruto took out Kun and scattered them around the clearing. And Naruto folded the seals and said, "The second stage of Hirashina is the whirlwind of the thunder god." And Naruto began to teleport, so it went on for 1.5. 4 minutes, Miya, Sasuke and Kurenai were surprised by Naruto's speed. He was faster than the 4th Hokage, and the flashes were orange. And after that Naruto created Rasengan and hit Zabuza, and he flew off and hit a tree. Then he got up and said, "You're not bad, kid, but I'm going to kill you." After that, the Sinbins arrive on Zabuza, and he falls to the ground and lands on the ground of Anbu Mist. He began to speak. Thanks for stopping him. I've been hunting for him for a long time. It's up to me as it's a matter of fog. Thank you, Shinobi Leaf." Yanbu disappeared, and after that Naruto fell unconscious, and Kurenai took Naruto on her back and told Tazuna, "Kudazuna himself is far away from your house." Tazuna said, "Ta no, send another hour of walking." After that, Team 8 went to the bridge builder's house. Miya wondered why Naruto hadn't figured it out, told her about his speed, and how many secrets he has. Sasuke also thought that Naruto was superior to him in strength, and he did not want to give in. He figured out how to become stronger, and catch up with him, and then Itachi, and prove to his father that he was also a genius, like his brother. 2 hours later, they were already at Tazuna's house. The door was opened by a girl about 30 years old. Her name was Tsunami. Tsunami said, "Suo, father, you came back and brought Shinobi Kanahi." Tazuna said that, "Hello, daughter, I need a room urgently." Tsunami looked in the direction of Naruto and went to show the room. Laid Naruto team, went down and began to get acquainted. Tazuna started talking. "Ta meet my daughter Tsunami." Tsunami said, "Tsu, nice to meet you." Tazuna continued, "Ta, this is my grandson Inari." Inari didn't say anything, but just grunted. After that, Kurenai began to represent her team. My name is Kurenai Yui, I am the captain of the team, this is Uchiha Sasuke." Sasuke grunted just like Inari. Is Miya Uzumaki?" Miya said. "Miya, nice to meet you." Kurenai continued. The boy that lies in Naruto Namikaze's room." After that, the team and Tazuna's family went to dinner. After that they went to bed. Let's move to the Gat Palace. Gata was sitting in his office and started talking. "Gaza Buzani thought that a 12-year-old boy would alienate you." Zabuza said, "For nothing. Next time I will alienate him and kill the customer." Gata said, I hope I wouldn't want them to finish the bridge, and I don't want to kill your partner Zabuz." But then Haku broke Gat's arm, and he yelled and said, "You'll regret Gat's vow, boy." After that, Zabuza and Haku went to their room to rest. Agatha said, "Kill them, and I will kill you so that you don't take my money." So 2 days passed. Naruto woke up in the room where his sister Miya was. Naruto raised his hand, and Miya woke up from that. The hand was moved. Miya said, "Miya, oh, Naruto, you're awake." Naruto said, "How much I overslept, and how long have you been here?" Miya said, "Miya, you've been lying here for 2 days, is everything okay? I didn't leave you for a single step, you shocked us with your own strength." Naruto said, "It's obvious, at least you rested." Miya nodded, and then the door opened, and a woman with purple hair came in. She started to say, "You're awake, how are you feeling?" Naruto replied, "Yes, it's fine, thank you for helping me, by the way, Naruto is on Mikaze. Name is Avaska." Tsunami replied, Tsunami is not for that, it's the least we could do. Come down to the first floor, we are waiting for you for breakfast, and yes, your clothes are lying on a chair. Naruto got out of bed and started to get dressed. Dressed Naruto and Mia went down to the first floor and went into the kitchen, where they were sitting at the table, Sasuke, Kurina and Tazuna, and Inari sat down at the table Kurina, and asked Naruto, how do you feel, Naruto? Naruto said, well, thank you, Kurina and Sensei. Sasuke asked Naruto, listen to Naruto, and what kind of technique was that, which you used against that shinobi? Naruto said, on the Flying Thunder God stage 2 technique, I haven't fully learned it yet, and it takes a lot of chakra. This is my first time I used it, so I passed out. And Nari said, Inzakimu. Train and fight, you will die anyway, so why do you need it to Yugato? There's nothing to get away for, one has already tried and failed. Naruto looked at Inari and said, but why? Because this world needs shinobi to protect people like you, and if the enemy surpasses you in strength, then we must. To stop, to be stronger, and also to sacrifice yourself so that others can live. Happily remember that. Naruto got up from the table and said, well, thank you very much, Tsunami-san, it was delicious. I think I'll take a walk. Naruto opened the door and left Ainair, got up from the table and went to his room. A room. Tazuna said, excuse my grandson, he lost his stepfather 2 years ago, he fought against Gat, and he was an idol for Inari. Inari admired him. By the way, his name was Keiza, but Gata caught him and publicly killed him. Kurenai said, Kupechelnaya story, but Naruto's father as well as Mia is called Minato Namikaze, or Yellow Lightning Kanahi. Tazuna and Tsunami were shocked at it, and the truth is, Naruto is completely similar to Minato. Let's move to the street, where Naruto was in the forest, and was training, when suddenly a rustle was heard from behind the bushes. Naruto turned around and said, come out, I've already felt you. A man came out from behind the bushes and started saying, sorry, I didn't want to interfere with your training. I just need plants here to help one person. Naruto said, but you're collecting nothing, I connected it. I'm training. Haku said, why are you training? Naruto said, but in order to become stronger and protect the people dear to me, by the way, what is your name? Haku said, Kuyuki, I'm a guy. Naruto said, it's not nice, my name is Naruto. Haku said, okay, I have to run, see you later Naruto-ku. And Haku left, and Naruto thought in his mind, but it's suspicious to watch me train, and he's kind of suspicious, it looks like I found that Anbu by his chakra, exactly the same. And Naruto went to the house. Naruto said, but maybe Zabuza didn't die. Sasuke said, why did you decide that? Naruto said, but because Anbu hit him with shin bones, and with their help, it is impossible to kill, only neutralize. Or stop the heart for a while. Kurenai said, Naruto is right, so that tomorrow we will start training, and now rest. The next morning, Team 7 was already standing in the forest, and Kurenai said, why? And so now you will learn how to control the chakra. Here Naruto has already interrupted Kurenai. On Kurenai Shinsei, Mia and I already know how, if I may, I will continue to master the technique that I used. And Mia said, I'm going to study Rasengan. Kurenai nodded and said to Sasuke, anew, and you will have to climb a tree without hands. Sasuke said, how is this? Kurina, concentrating the chakra in her legs, climbed a tree and said, how is that? Sasuke understood the principle, and began to climb a tree, but without going 3 steps, he began to fall. Kurina also said, give the chakra, you will fall a little, you will overdo it, you will break a tree. Let's move on to Mia. Mia has already mastered the first stage, and started to master the second, but she couldn't blow up a rubber ball, and Naruto said, on Mia, in order to master the second stage, you need to focus, and be able to rotate the chakra clockwise like this. Naruto took a marker and drew on his left hand, that's my sample, so I have myself. It turned out to master Rasengan for about a month, so don't worry if your father doesn't work out right away, so I learned how to create it. In 3 months. Uncle Jiraiya did it in 2 months, so don't rush it, you did it. Mia nodded and started trying. And Naruto took out a 3-petaled kunai from his bag, and began to scatter it around the clearing, and, folding the seal, said, the second stage of the Thunder God is the whirlwind of the Thunder God. and he began to teleport along the kunai. And then came the evening of Naruto a little. He mastered the technique. Mia was already able to move the air in the ball, but not to burst it. And Sasuke could already walk halfway up the tree. So 2 days passed. Naruto learned to use the technique for 5 minutes. Then Mia passed out, the balloon finally burst, and was glad Sasuke climbed a tree. And he learned to walk on water. And in the morning Team 7 went to the bridge, and Naruto stayed at home, as he lost consciousness again due to the loss of chakra. Naruto was lying on the second floor, when suddenly he heard the broken dishes, and someone rustled. Naruto got out of bed and went down. On the first floor there, he saw 2 armed men approaching Tsunade Inari, tried to protect his mother. But one of the people pushed Inari out. Naruto said, "But look for someone your own size." The bandits turned to Naruto, where he was already holding a Rasengan in his hand, and hit them one by one. And he flew away from the house, and passed out on the second kunai, pierced the heart. Naruto turned to Tsunade and said Suwa is okay. Tsunade himself. Tsunade said, "Su, everything is fine, thanks to Naruto-ku." Naruto turned to Inari and helped bring him to his senses. Naruto said, "Well done, Inari, you were able to protect your mom, Tsunade-san. Do you know where my team is now?" Tsunade said, "Tsuani went with my father to the bridge, and what is it?" Naruto was alerted, and he said, "Since you were attacked, then Tazuna himself is in danger." Naruto folded the seal and disappeared, and found himself near Naruto's Tazan, saw this picture of Kurenai fighting with Sasuke's Zabuza, having his behind the mirrors. Naruto said, "But it looks like I'm on time, you're like Tazuna himself." Tazuna said she was fine, Naruto. Naruto put his hands on his shoulder, and said, "On the Funjutsu barrier of scarlet lights." Naruto removed his hands and said, "But now you are safe, the barrier will protect you from danger, I will help a friend." Naruto threw a kunai, and it landed near Mia and Sasuke, and then there was Naruto. Naruto saw how Sasuke and Mia were barely standing on their feet, and Sasuke already had a 2-wash Sharingan. Naruto said it was just in time. Sasuke said, "Saw Naruto, you're an idiot, there's a Tazuna without protection." Naruto said, "Well, calm down, Uchiha Tazuna is safe, so let's start." And then the shinbones fly to Mia and Sasuke, but Naruto folded the seal, and said he would put a water prison on it. And the shinbones fell, and then Naruto turned his head, when he suddenly saw that Mia and Sasuke were lying and not breathing. Naruto ran up to her and checked her heart, and it wasn't pounding the same way as Sasuke's. And then Haku said, "Your weak teammates flew away too quickly." Naruto said in a sepulchral voice, "Shut up, you also have 2 minutes left to live." When suddenly the shinbones flew at Naruto, but the air flew. The air did not hit Naruto, and then the yellow chakra enveloped Naruto, and after that Naruto stood calm, and then again. Haku threw a shinbin at Naruto, dodged in a matter of seconds. Naruto folded the seals, and said in a sepulchral voice, "Fuck the 5th stage of the space rift." And Naruto started destroying all the mirrors, and in 2 seconds there were no more mirrors. And after that, Naruto hit the ambushnik, and he flew 500 meters away, and immediately found himself behind the fence. And Naruto with his own eyes, namely with a pitkin, plunged Zabuza into his genjutsu. After Naruto approached Anbu, and saw the guy he saw in the forest after that, Gaara came to the bridge with his army. Gaara told Zabuza, "Gamda Zabuza couldn't alienate the children, I'm disappointed." And then Naruto said in a sepulchral voice, "But the one who hides behind his dogs said, and came after we alienated them, well, now you will get it." Naruto began to move with great speed, and kill Gat's henchmen, and after 5 seconds, Gat was left alone, and he said, "Gas. Stop, stop, I'll give you money, a lot of money, as much as you ask." Naruto put his hand on Gat's shoulder, and said, "Nafuin paralysis." And then he said, "It's not I who will decide your unnecessary fate, but the people of this country." And then on the other side of the bridge, there were peaceful people, the sons, and the Tsunade and Naruto threw Gat to the people. Naruto approached Mia and Sasuke, and let the chakra go after that. The mode disappeared, and Naruto passed out after that. Zabuza's genjutsu disappeared, and Haku woke up with Mia and Sasuke. Zabuza promised that he would choose a different path and protect this country from people like Gaara. Naruto was taken to Tezuna's house, and there he lay for a day after he woke up, and Team 7 went to Kanehua Bridge. called Naruto the God of Speed. After 5 days, Team 7 returned to Kanaka Karina and said, "So, Team 7, you are free, you can go to rest. And I will go to the residence, I will report to the Hokage about the task." The team replied, "Everything is there." And everyone went home, and the chicken went to the residence was. Chicken, thinking about something, and thinking about the power of Naruto. She had never seen to kill the 30th shinobi in a matter of seconds, and now 5 minutes later. Chicken was standing near Hokage's office and knocked, and it was heard. "Don't log in." Chicken came into the office and said, "The 4th self-assignment was successfully completed." Minato said, "It's good as a team." Kurenai said, "The employer underestimated the rank of the mission because they lacked funds. At a higher rank, we met 2 demons Goza and Mizu, and also met a demon of the blood mist. One of the mist swordsmen, Zabuza Mummy, with his subordinate Hakuyuki about the team, they acted harmoniously, but one thing bothers me." Minato said, "Mida and what kind?" Kurenai continued. "Kuyu Naruto during the bridge activated, some kind of power from him came out huge. Kai, he knocked out Haku. In a matter of seconds, although a minute ago to get there, I could not then get rid of a group of bandits. In 3 seconds, he had a speed that surpasses your Hokage herself." Minato sat and thought and said, "It's not good, here's the paper. You'll get the money at the bottom, the rank of the mission. And I'll talk to Naruto." Karina and said, "Kuiz. Let's move to the house of the Namikaze family." Naruto and Mia entered the house, and Mia said, "Me, Mom, we're home." Kushina came out of the kitchen, and, seeing the children, ran up and hugged them, said, "Go, wash your hands. And tell us at the table how your mission went outside the village." Naruto and Mia, after washing their hands, sat down at the table, and Naruto began to tell how the mission went. Told the same thing that Kurenai told Minato. Kushina said, "Fu, I hope you are not hurt." Naruto decided, said, "But when Mia and Sasuke were fighting with Haku's assistant for the booze, he pierced them with shinbones. And then I got angry, and some kind of force activated, time slowed down around me, and I knocked out in a matter of seconds. Haku and the bandits, fortunately Mia and Sasuke turned out to be fine. I think that in the evening, I will have a conversation with my father." So the day passed, and in the evening, Minato came, he said, "Me, family, I'm home." Mia and Naruto, Minato's cushions came out of the kitchen, noticed that Naruto was thinking about something. And when the family was at the table, Minato said, "Mia Shinsei said that the rank of the mission was underestimated. I'm glad you're safe and sound." Mia said, "Me, Dad, I was able to complete the 2nd stage of 3 in the development of Rasengan." Minato said, "Me is well done, Mia, I'm proud of you, and how are you doing, Naruto?" Naruto said, "Well, father, I learned the 2nd stage of Hiraishin." Minato smiled and said, "Me well done, I'm proud of Naruto, could you come to my office in an hour to talk?" Naruto nodded, and, having had dinner with Naruto, went to his father's office, knocked, and heard, "Enter Naruto." He came in and said, "My father called me." Minato said, "Mida Naruto, sit down, I wanted to talk to you about the force, the chicken told me about your strength. Do you want to tell me about it?" Naruto exhaled and started talking. "It happened 7 years ago, when you just started training me. I lost consciousness, remember?" Minato nodded, and Naruto continued. "But so at that moment I got into the gods, and met the thunder god Hiraishin himself. He said that I was chosen by his power, and that I was his power. He said that at the age of 12, my eyes would awaken, and that he had passed on his knowledge to me, but they also open up with age. So, the first time it happened at the academy, when Sakura Haruna started insulting me, I activated the mode. I was ready to break it, but you appeared, and the mode disappeared, and the last time the mode was activated on a mission was then. And there was Hiraishin's mode and his eyes, unfortunately, I do not know. Not knowing their powers." Minato was sitting and thinking about everything his son said. He got up and took a scroll out of the closet and said, "Once upon a time, our founder, his name was Kahira Namikaze, was the same as you, he had the power, just like the god of thunder. But he didn't have the eye, it was faster. All the people in the world respected and feared him, and in one of the battles, he fought with 100,000 shinobi. He fought for 5 days, but in the end, he sacrificed himself so that his clan could live." Naruto said, "Nai, what should I do now?" Minato thought about it and said, I will find you a teacher who will teach you. He was my teacher when I and my comrades became genins. I will ask him." Naruto said, "Thank you, father, I can go." Minato said, "Mida Naruto, you can go to rest. The next morning, everything is Jouni." They insisted in the office. Hokage Minato began to say, So, team mentors, I called you here. In order to break the news, there will be a Chunin exam in a week. I decided to find out if you agree to the genins participating in it or not." Guy answered first. I made a guy, give my consent for my students to participate in the exam." Asuma said next. "I, Asuma Sarutobi, give my consent to Inoshi Kachu's team to participate in the exam." Then Kakashi said, "I, Kakashi Hatake, give my consent to the participation of the 8th team in the exam." And finally, Kurenai said, I, Kurenai Jui, give my consent to participate in the exam to Team 7. Minato said, "It doesn't mean that the full graduate will participate in the exam." "Very well, here take these forms. And give it to your geniuses, let them sign it." The team captains took the forms and dispersed. Let's move on to Naruto. Naruto was walking around the village when he suddenly heard a shout, "Kan, kiss my feet, baby." Kanehamaru said, "Kai, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, I didn't see you." Kankura said, "Kai, all the Kanakovs here are so infuriating, but I will teach good manners." Kankura took the doll out from behind his back, and Timari said, "T, do you want to use it?" And then a three-petaled kunai flew by and scratched Kankura's cheek, he said, as soon as he did it. And then from behind Naruto said Tsunade in his hands near the neck, "Let the guy go, or I'll kick you so hard that you won't be able to walk for a year, especially since you're holding the grandson of the 3rd Hokage. You want a war, but I'm afraid it will end very quickly." Kankura said, "Codex. What is it?" Naruto replied, "On Naruto Namikaze, the son of the 4th Hokage." Kankura smiled, but a voice was heard from the tree. "Ga Kankura, let him go, or I'll kill him." Kankura said, "Kagara, ha, good." Kankura released Kanehamaru, and he ran away. Gaara came down from the tree and said, "Ga, excuse my brother, he's just a fool." Naruto replied, "Follow him, or I will teach him a lesson that he will not soon forget." Naruto turned around and left, and Gaara said, "Ga, I will definitely fight with you and taste your blood." Naruto was walking through the village when Sasuke turned out to be here and said, "Saw Naruto. Kurina and Sensei are waiting for us at the 9th training ground." Naruto nodded, and they went there, when Kurina came and began to say, "Humor, I have news. The Chunin exam will start in a week. I gave my fortune consent to your participation, but you have the right to refuse it. Sign these forms if you participate." Naruto, Sasuke and me took the forms and signed it, and gave it to Kurina, and she smiled and said, "Coup in a week at the Shinobi Academy, good luck." And the chicken disappeared in Shunshin, and our heroes. The heroes began to train for the Chunin exam. A week has passed. Our heroes became a little trained Sasuke, improved the control of the 2-Washmiya Sharingan, improved Fuinjutsu together with Kushina. And Naruto improved Hiraishi's control by 2 stages, but his peak was 5 minutes. Minutes after that, he fell unconscious. And today, the first stage of the team should take place. 7 met near the academy and went inside, climbing to the 2nd floor. Our heroes saw that a bunch of shinobi mobsters were supposedly in 301 offices, but Sasuke, having a definition right away, determined that it was genjutsu. "It's stupid, since you haven't determined that this is genjutsu, it means you don't have a place on the exam," Sasuke said. All the others looked at our heroes mysteriously, and one of them said, "What are you talking about?" Mia said, "M301. The office is on the 3rd floor, and this is the 2nd. 2 shinobi cats were obstructing the passage. There were Izuma and Katitsu." Katitsu said, "So we were discovered by Kai. And genjutsu was dispelled by our heroes. They went up to the 3rd floor and saw that the chicken was standing and waiting for hours. When I saw the Trinity, I said, 'I'm glad to see you, I see confidence in your eyes, but also be on your guard. There are a lot of shinobi here, not only from our village, but also from the sand. Be careful, I believe you will pass the exam.'" The team nodded and went inside and sat down at a desk a few minutes later. Exam participants also started coming in, and then a guy with gray hair in a ponytail came up, and he started a dialogue with glasses. "Hello everyone. My name is Yakusha Kabuta. I have already passed the exam 3 times twice, I have already failed it. I have cards for each participant here. Naruto abruptly turned his eye on him and began to follow him. Kiba said, "Give me information on Sasuke Uchiha Miyu Uzumaki and Naruto on Mikasi." Kabuto began to say, Uchiha Sasuke, a member of the Uchiha clan, the owner of a 2-wash Sharingan, has an element. Fire completed the 10th mission of D rank and the first rank of a Miya Uzumaki. The princess of the Uzumaki clan possesses the Suten cat, and Futon also possesses the improved Kongo Fusa genome. Of the Uzumaki clan chain, and Naruto Namikaze, the prince of the Namikaze clan, possesses. The elements Futon, Suten, and Raiten have the technique of Yandayami Hokage as well. Here Kabuto wanted to continue, but Naruto used a huge kai, and kunai appeared in his hands and approached in a tight, and said in a sepulchral voice, "En, where did you get this information? And you don't have to lie. I know that you couldn't get into the Forbidden Vault, you would have been spotted, and yes, I can call Hokage here right now. And you won't seem enough." Then someone started sweating from his forehead, and then Ibiki started talking. "And everyone sit down, my name is the C on Ibiki. I am the examiner of the first stage of the Nachunin exam. Your task is to answer 9 questions. 10 minutes before the end, I will ask the last 10th question. If I or my spies notice that someone is cheating, then he and his team will leave the office and will never be able to pass this exam again. And they will remain geniuses forever, and so you have 1 hour, time has gone." The written stage began. Someone began to use techniques to write off, such as Shin Aburami used his bugs to transfer Gaara consciousness, Sandai, Nijibi, and Kugan, and even Sasuke used his Sharingan. Only Naruto Media wrote the test on their own, so it went about 50 minutes, Ibiki said. "And so now I'm going to ask the last 10th question. If you don't answer it, you will remain geniuses forever. But if the other side, you can find out. To leave and retake the test next year, while with his team, nothing will happen if they stay." About 20 teams left because of Ibiki's pressure and fear that they would remain genins, and then Ibiki continued. "And so those who remained, congratulations, you have passed the last 10th question." And then everyone was shocked, Ina said. But what was the 10th question? Ibiki continued. "And there was no way to remember him, and those who abandon their comrades in the middle of a mission cannot be called shinobi. Those who came out and left their own have no right to be called shinobi, they will betray you at the first special mission." After that, a 25-year-old woman flew into the window, and she said, "I left more than half of the teams older than Shibiki." Ibiki replied, "And there are just too many capable shinobi this year." The woman replied, "Well, there's nothing on mine. At the stage of the most part, everyone who remained behind me will be eliminated." And the woman flew out of the window, as all the genins appeared, left the room, and followed the second examiner. She continued to say, "My name is Matarasha Anka, I am an examiner of the second stage, and I remember. This stage will be difficult, since only the strong forest will come out of here. It's called the Forest of Death. His name is not just like that. There are many dangerous animals and poisonous plants here. And the berries are your task, you will get 1 scroll of heaven, earth, water, and lightning is your task. I will give you scrolls with a certain element, you have to pick up the opposite scroll, if you have a scroll of earth. Pick up a scroll of air, water, lightning, and vice versa, and then find the tower, and get there in 5 days, and survive you will eat what to come across. And by the way, sign this form. You agree that if you are killed, gnawed, and so on, we are not responsible." Janina's forms were distributed to everyone, signed them, and immediately they were given scrolls of a certain element. And a scroll of earth fell out to our heroes, and then the gates opened, and the second stage began. So the team entered the Forest of Death, and began to come up with a plan first of all. The team decided to find a scroll of air, the team came up with a password. Naruto also put Hirashin seals on Miya and Sasuke. And said, if something happens, then they should give the chakra to the seal, and the blonde. It seems to be nearby. So the team decided to split up to find the scroll faster. Sasuke went west to find the Miya scroll, went east, and Naruto went north. Immediately, Naruto had a feeling of anxiety, that someone specifically wanted them to split up. So half an hour passed, Sasuke found a team of genins, and decided to turn them off, to find out what kind of scroll they had. But then Naruto appeared and said, Sasuke, I found the scroll, we need to find Mia, and go to the tower. Sasuke looked askance at Naruto, and said, it's good, but there is one thing, but you didn't say the password. And the bandage on Naruto's leg on the right side, and you have on the left who are you? Then Mia comes and sees that Sasuke and Naruto are busy with something. Then Naruto smiled and said, and noticed, so it's good. And kicked him in the stomach. Then Mia said, Naruto, idiot, what are you doing? We are your teammates. Sasuke stood up and shouted to Mia. See is not Naruto, take a closer look. Then Mia noticed that Naruto had a bandage on his leg on the left side, and not on the right. And immediately Sasuke pierced Naruto with a kunai and then died. Then Mia and Sasuke teamed up, and went to look for the scroll, and immediately a woman landed on a tree and said, and here you are. Sasuke, Uchiha, I've been waiting for you. Then the woman let go of Mia's cue, and Sasuke began to panic. The girl's neck increased, and wanted to bite Sasuke. But then the sound of thunder was heard, and Naruto kicked the woman 250 meters away from him. Naruto was serious, he said, anyone who poses a threat to my friends will be killed immediately. The girl got up and started brushing the dust off her clothes, and said, not a bad blow, but I need it wrong. She pointed at Naruto Sasuke and continued, over my dead body. The girl smiled and said, why should I fight with you if I can do this? The girl quickly began to fold the seal, putting her hands on the ground. A large snake appeared. The snake attacked Naruto. And the girl herself began to attack Sasuke. He fortunately came to his senses and began to defend himself, but the girl had more experience. And then Mia also came to her senses and started attacking the girl. Sasuke folded the seals and released a fireball, and the girl's face began to disappear, and then appeared. The masculine strength of this Mia immediately realized who it was. Snake Sanya Arakimaru. Arakimaru smiled and said, so there are children who remember me, since I was declassified. It means there is no point in leaving you alive. Let's move on to Naruto. Naruto started a fight with Naruto's snake. Naruto started using Hiroshin and attacking the snake, but he didn't care about the snake, dissipated, and said, ahahahaha, it was a good massage, but you're finished. Manda took and swallowed Naruto, but after 30 seconds, Naruto created multiple shadow cloning. And I was able to get out after that, created a Rasengan in my hand, and hit the Manda. And he finally disappeared. After that Naruto felt pain. On the left hand, using Hiroshin, disappeared. Let's move on to Mia Sasuke. Arakimaru, grabbing Mia by the throat, wanted to cut off her head with a blade. But then Naruto saw that his sister was going to die soon. A strange chakra appeared, and a voice sounded in his head. Rest, air. After that, Naruto had an incredible chakra, which enveloped him. His eyes also changed, a veil appeared, and with a quick blow, pushed off Rikimaru. At 500 meters, Mia saw Naruto, and said, thanks Naruto. But he did not answer, went for Arakimaru, who got up and said, and it hurt. Naruto was not far from him in a tree, and said, know your place mortal. Naruto activated his eyes, and time slowed down, and began humiliating him with quick punches. Beat him so 2 minutes passed, and Naruto cancelled the technique, and Rachumaru realized that he could not be defeated. And that almost his body was destroyed, ran away, and then Naruto lost his chakra, and his eyes returned, fell unconscious. Sasuke and Mia found Naruto after seeing that he was lying down. Unconscious, Sasuke took Mia's partner, saw the right scroll, took it away, and went to a safe place. To look for the benefit for a long time. I didn't have to put Naruto in Sasuke's cave, and Mia began to wait for Naruto to wake up. Meanwhile, in the subconscious, Hiroshin began to say, and so Naruto, I have not very happy news for you. You've used my regime twice, your body can't stand the loads. If you use this mode again, you will die. Naruto listened with all seriousness. He replied, what should I do so that I can use this mode? Hiroshin replied, I advise you to leave the village after the exam for 3, or better for 4 years under my guidance. You will be ready to use my regime, and also become my heir. Naruto said, I understand you, Hiroshin-sama. Let's go back to Sasuke and me. It's been a day and a half of Sasuke, having every 2 hours replaced each other so that one could also rest. And so Naruto opened his eyes a little, and saw that he was in a cave. Turning his head, he saw that Sasuke and Mia are sitting by the fire. Naruto gave a hoarse voice. And how much? Mia turned her head and, seeing that his brother had woken up, ran up to him and hugged him, saying, Baka. Never making me nervous. Naruto also hugged her, saying, you're fine. Sasuke replied, that's what we have to ask you, Dabi. Naruto, standing up, said, how long I was out. Mia replied that we had a day and a half left, 4.5 days. Naruto got up and said, it's time to go for the scroll, and into the tower. But Sasuke interrupted. Actually, we have already found the scroll, it remains to reach the tower. Naruto understood, and went to the tower after 3 hours. We were already there on the way. Mia noticed that his brother was laconic, apparently his fight was very difficult. Once at the tower, the team opened the scrolls, and, putting them in the seal, Kurenai appeared from there. And said that they had passed the stage, and they came for, said that Mia could rest, asked to talk to her. They moved away and started a conversation. Kurenai-sensei, we had a terrible event at the stage. We were attacked by Richumaru. The chicken was shocked, but Mia continued. Naruto started fighting with him, but as if it wasn't him after the victory, he passed out. He was enveloped in some kind of chakra, and lay for a day and a half after he woke up, but he's kind of closed. Kurenai understood and said, it's okay. Mia Naruto, apparently, is saddened that he lost the sled, but he will recover. And I will inform Orochimaru Hokage, you can go and rest. After that, Mia ran into the room, and Kurenai said to herself, what happened in this forest? Disappeared in Shunshin. So 4.5 days passed, and half of the team passed. The second stage, which the examiners did not expect, and then Hokage appeared, and began a dialogue. So I congratulate those who passed the second stage of the exam. You have shown well that you can survive in emergency conditions, but we have a small problem, we have too many teams. We have passed the second stage, and for 3 stages we need fewer participants, and we decided to hold a preliminary stage. You will have to fight against another participant. But if you do not want to participate in this stage, you can refuse, your team will not be disqualified. Then Yakushi Kabuta raised his hand and said, I'm sorry, I'm going to refuse, I hurt my hand. And I don't think I can continue to participate. Also, several genins also refused to participate. Minato nodded and said, Hayate, you can start. And Hokage disappeared. A couple of days ago. Hokage residence. Kurenai knocked, and a voice was heard. Come in. Kurenai came into the office, and she said, Hokage, I have news for you. Minato put away the documents and raised his head, making it clear that he was listening. During the 2 stages, the team number 7 was attacked by the attacker. There was a snake, Sanin Orochimaru. Minato was surprised and said, what did Orochimaru need in the village, and why did he attack the 7th team? Kurenai replied, according to Mia Orochimaru, he wanted to put a bite on Uchiha Sasuke, as I understand it. He wanted to leave the seal that Mitarashi Anka has, but it didn't work out for him. Naruto helped the team, but also, according to Mia, after the battle Naruto became laconic, as if he feels the screw. Minato understood and said, I understand you, chicken, after the exam I will talk to Naruto. And also strengthen control in the village and in the land of fire, I will notify the daimyo, if that's all you can go. And the chicken disappeared into Shunshin. Let's move to the tower. So, Naruto's first fight on Mikaze, and Kabiya Nadzuka. Naruto went down with Kiba. He began to say, let's see how strong our genius is on the Mikaze. Naruto didn't say anything to this, stood up in a stand, and began to wait for the beginning of Hayate gave the go-ahead. And Kiba ran to Naruto, but Naruto just dodged Kiba, it got tired, and said, Sour, you're going to be dodging the Mikaze for so long, go away or you're afraid. Naruto noted to himself, hot-tempered decided to bring me to emotions, so even his blows. Taijutsu is too clumsy, it looks like Ashi-san didn't teach them much, I think he won't beat him up much. I won't, or I'll break his bone. Naruto sighed and, standing in the stance that his father taught him, ran to Kiba, and began to beat him in taijutsu so quickly that even Kiba did not notice his blows, and, using Hiroshin, moved behind his back and kicked him, sent into the wall soul. Closer Naruto said, I will give advice, as a shinobi, be able to correctly assess the situation. Do not underestimate the enemy, otherwise you can lose your life. Hayate said, "Ha, the winner is on Mikaze Naruto." So 2 fights passed, and Hayate said, "Ha, the next one." A fight between Miya Uzumaki versus Kurui and Hidden Cloud. Miya and Kurui entered the arena, and Miya said to herself, Mom, Dad, brother, look what I've learned. I don't need to be protected." Hayate gave the go-ahead, and the rivals ran at each other and started fighting in taijutsu, not having time to Miya each other, folded the seal and said, Suiton water bullet. The bullet flew at Korra, but Korra used lightning. But it was her huge mistake, she was struck by lightning, and she blacked out. Hayate said, "Ha, Miya Uzumaki won." So too, about 10 fights passed, and Hayate said, "Ha, and the last fight of Sasuke Uchiha, Izaku from Hidden Sound." Naruto stopped Sasuke and said finally, don't lose, Teamy, I also want to fight you." Sasuke nodded, and went into the arena, did the same. And Zack Hayate gave the go-ahead, and the fight began with Sasuke. He began to expect an enemy attack. He ran to Sasuke, decided that he was stronger in taijutsu, but his intuition deceived him. Sasuke. He started dodging Zeku's attacks. And when he was a little exhausted, Sasuke began to beat him. This went on for 2 minutes, and when the second one got tired of it, jumped away from Sasuke, and, removing the bracers, the device appeared. Sasuke noticed about himself. "Just do it, if it hits me, then I will be left without hearing." Sasuke got tired of it too, and decided to end it all with one attack, activating the Sharingan, and, making a lightning bolt in his hand, ran to Zack in the stands. Kakashi is standing next to his team, and, seeing how Sasuke creates his technique, he said to himself, "Besides, this is Chidori. But when he managed to learn, did he copy it from me when I was training?" In the arena, Sasuke ran at Zack, and the fast attack speed went right through Zack. He stood there for a couple of seconds and fell. Sasuke came up to Zack and said, "With such cheap devices, the Sneeze clan cannot be distanced." Hayate announced that Sasuke had won, and then Minato appeared and said, Well done, who passed the qualifying fights. The 3rd stage will begin in a month at the main arena of Kanahi. I hope you will become stronger than luck." Someone disappeared, and the participants began to disperse. Miya said, since we passed, maybe we should celebrate." Sasuke agreed, but Naruto said in a steely voice, I'm sorry, I can't, I have to train." And Naruto disappeared just like his father. Miya turned her head and said to Sasuke, noticed with Naruto that something was wrong. He changed after the battle with Orochimaru. Sasuke nodded and replied, "Apparently, something happened to him after using his regime. He decided to separate from you as he feels that he almost lost you and closed himself in himself. It's amazing that he didn't go into darkness. Let's see what happens next." So another month passed. Naruto trained like hell, and, appearing at home late at night, Naruto decided that after 3 stages, he would leave the village for 3 or 4 years, as he realized that he was still very weak in his regime. It could be his undoing. He also did not tell his family about it. Let's move 2 weeks ago. Minato called Naruto to talk to him. Naruto, here is the case of me. I found out that during the 2nd stage, you were attacked by Richimaru, and that you protected your friends, and wanted to know how you were. Naruto became serious even very much. Great, father, if that's all, I'll go, I need to train." Minato saw that Naruto was worried about something, but decided to hide. Minato continued. Naruto, something happened, you're kind of weird, like you pulled away." Naruto said, it's okay, Dad, I'm going." And Naruto disappeared into Shunshin, and Minato said to himself, what happened to you, Naruto? What did me and Sasuke do this month?" Miya improved the skills of Fuinjutsu Iten, improved the techniques of water and fire. Sasuke also awakened Sharingan from 3 to Mei, thanks to Genjutsu. Itachi also improved his skills, improved fire techniques, and also began to train with Kakashi, lightning techniques. And now came the 3rd stage of the exam on the Kage bed. Minato appeared with the rest of the Kage, and Minato began his speech. So welcome to the 3rd stage today. We will find out who will become a Chunin and continue the path of Shinobi, and who will also remain a Genin. So, now the participants with whom will appear on the table. You will fight, so I ask the participants to go to the podium. And then the first names appeared on the table. Naruto na MKs versus Niji Hugo. Naruto went down to the arena, did the same, and Niji Hayate gave the go-ahead, and Niji spoke, "Inamikaze. Is an honor for me to fight with the son of the 4th Hokage." Naruto also replied, As for me, we'll fight with the genius of the Hyuga clan. Miji stood in the clan's stance, just like Naruto. He noticed to himself, and fighting him in taijutsu is suicide. Since he has a Bikugan, and probably knows the style of a soft fist. We need to know more about him. Naruto folded the seal of the cross, and 6 shadow clones appeared. They ran to Neji. But as Naruto thought, none of this worked out, but Olin of the clones put the seal of Hiraishin. Naruto noticed this, but didn't become it. Naruto folded several seals and said, Enraten is an arrow made of lightning. The arrow flew at Neji, but he used kiting. After Naruto again created 10 shadow clones to distract him. And Naruto was behind Neji, and sent him to the order with a blow of Rasengan. So Bamiya passed, fought with Temari, defeated Temari the way she was smarter and stronger than Sasuke, but Kankura won. And there was supposed to be a fight between Naruto and Sasuke, but then Orochimaru attacked, all the Kage got ready for battle, and so. There was supposed to be a fight between Sasuke and Naruto. But then Orochimaru attacked, where Kage's bed was. For sounds also put up a barrier of shinobi sound, began to fight with Konoha, as well as Gaara. Began to transform into Shukaku Kankura, and Temari began to take his brother away from the arena. So that he would not start sowing destruction. Sasuke saw that they were taking away red hair, and began to pursue the goal, while Mia began to fend off the shinobi sound. Naruto realized that Sasuke was in danger, and went to help, leaving the clone to help Mia. Meanwhile, Kankura noticed that Sasuke had a tail behind them, and told his sister. Temari, take Gaara away, I'll stay behind us. Temari said, You're not, Kankura, I'm not leaving you. Kankura said, Temari, don't argue, we need to take Gaara away, otherwise it will be worse. Temari nodded, but said one last thing. Ted, don't you dare die. And they ran on. Sasuke appeared in the field, vision and said, So you decided to attack the leaf, how stupid. Kankura said, Yes, it was the plan of the father and the leader of the sound. We wanted better lands for our people. Sasuke said, It won't come true so easily. Since Konoha is protected by the founders of the village, the Chiha clan. And Sasuke activated Sharingan, ran to the show jumping. Let's move to the box where the Kage were. Minato started a dialogue. So Orochimaru decided to attack the leaf herself. Okay, so we'll have to eliminate you. Orochimaru said, but it will be difficult, especially since there is a traitor of your race among you. Minato was surprised, and at the same time said, Kazekage, what does this mean? Rasa said there's nothing personal about Minato in the area, but I need to seize power in Konoha. Minato became calm, while he began to expect the enemy's actions. Rasa folded the seals and said, Or, Sanboa? Rasa wanted to grab Minato, but he disappeared. With his technique and punches, Rasengana sent the race flying in the meantime. Reikage, Mizukage, Tsuchikage fought against Orochima. But he used this Tenshi and resurrected the first Hokage Hashirama and the second Tabirama. After the race, he crashed into the wall, and Minato folded the seal, and said, The seal of binding is 2 stages. And touched the race, and he was paralyzed, and Minato went to help other Kage. Meanwhile, Sasuke sighed, It's all I'm disappointed, Puppeteer, I thought you'd be stronger. And then Naruto landed, and said to Sasuke, I see you're coping. Sasuke smiled, and at the same time said, Jump, go and catch up with the One-Tails. Naruto nodded, and went after them. Fortunately his speed was faster than the usual shinobi, and quickly caught up with them. Naruto said, think that you attacked us, and now you will leave here so quickly. Temari said, Ed, you don't see Gar, he started the transformation, if you don't take him away, there will be victims. But Shukaku had already woken up and, hitting Temari, began to laugh and said, Sha, finally, freedom for you, the end. I will kill you. Naruto was ready to attack, but then the 9-tailed one intervened, he spoke, You're sour as a guy. Naruto smiled and said, I haven't seen you for a long time. I've seen Kurama, how you live. Kurama said, It's boring, I sleep all the time, but at least now I'm going to stretch to a stupid raccoon. Shukaku was furious and said, Step, how you infuriate me, you arrogant fox. And the battle of the 2-tailed ones began. Meanwhile, in Kage's box, Minato started fighting against Orochimaru. The Akage fought. Against the 2 Akage, Minato started attacking Orochimaru. In taijutsu, but he easily dodged, but Minato was not stupid. And, having created 4 shadow columns, they began to attack. And then he, having created a Rasengan in 2 hands, began to attack. And having got to Arakimaru, but then a third Hokage appeared and said, "Ha, your crime has come to an end for Arakimaru." Hiruzen folded the seal and said, "Ha, the seal technique of the god of death." And the god of death himself appeared. He began a dialogue. "Bees, who decided to summon me?" Hiruzen said, "Ha, it was me, forgive me." The god of death looked at Hiruzen and began a dialogue. "Bees, you know the price to death." Hiruzen nodded and said, "Ha, I want to seal Arakimaru." The god of death took out the tana and pierced Arakimaru, after taking the soul out of Arakimaru's body. And 2 minutes later, the soul was sealed in the stomach of the god of death, and after that he disappeared. And Arakimaru's body fell, and Hiruzen also died, giving his soul to the god of death. After that, Minato said, Thank you third." After that, Minato folded the seals and said, Ida, Tenya, develop. Both the first and the second began to disappear. Meanwhile, in the forest, where the fight was between Shukaku and Kurama, Kurama turned to Naruto. "Listen, kid, I have an idea. You're going to have to climb on top of me and wake up the Jinchuriki." Naruto nodded and jumped on the head of the chickens, and then on the head of Shukaku, hitting Gaara. He woke up with his head. And Shukaku began to disappear. Naruto, thanking Kurama, he went back. In the forest, Naruto approached Gaara and said, I understand that it's hard for you to be a Jinchuriki, but I can fix you, so that you can control yourself normally, but in return you and your brother and sister will not attack the leaf." Gaara was shocked, but agreed, as Shukaku did not let him sleep and acted on his psyche. Naruto folded several seals and touched his stomach and said, "Seal 8-3 grams." A spiral seal appeared on Gaara's stomach, and he was shocked, as the voices in Gaara's head disappeared, and then Temari appeared, followed by Sasuke from the show Jumping, who was tied up. Naruto told Sasuke, Sasuke, let the guy go." Sasuke was surprised, but Naruto answered, It's okay, they'll leave Kanahi and won't attack her, they gave their word." Sasuke let Kankura go, and Gaara said, "Temari Kankura, I'm sorry for everything I did." Temari and Kankura were shocked, but they hugged Gaara and then disappeared. And Sasuke and Naruto went back to Konoha, where, by the way, the attack also stopped, and most of the Suna shinobi were arrested and placed in Kanahi prison, along with Kazekage, awaiting trial over them. And then night came, and Naruto, having written a note, left it in his room, and, collecting a backpack, went out through the window, and went to the gate of the village, turned back, and said one last thing. Konoha, you're seeing old Naruto for the last time. See you in 4 years, and the updated Naruto will come. And he left like that. In the morning, everyone woke up except Naruto Kushin. I said, Mia, go and wake up your brother. Mia got up, knocked on the door, said, Naruto, get up mom, I've cooked breakfast. But there was silence behind the door. She opened the door, and the room was empty, seeing that her brother was nowhere to be found. She saw a note, took it, went down to the first floor. She said, Naruto is not in the room, but he left a note. Minato and Kushina were shocked. Mia started reading the note. Mom, Dad, Mia, if you are reading the note, it means that I have already left the village for 4 years, for the sake of training. Since I last time, I used the Thunder God mode against Arakimaru, and it was a mistake. Hirashin herself said that if I use it again, I will die. This mode gives incredible loads on the body. I'm sorry I didn't tell Mia, I'm sorry I pulled away, but it was necessary. See you in 4 years, your son and your brother Naruto. Everyone was shocked by Aomia, and the Kushins were crying, since Naruto didn't tell them anything, but Mia said, So I will also train hard, so that Naruto doesn't protect me, and I have to catch up with him in strength. Minato smiled and said, So the training will be hellish, you're ready. Mia nodded and said, I've always been ready, Dad.